now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
The following episode of Humble and Fred Radio is brought to you by FYI Music News, The Retirement Sherpa, Gig Sky, The Chambers Plan, Strain Print, Freedom Construction, Ringside MD, Clear Air Solutions, 5 Hour Energy, and our newest sponsor, CDN Technologies. If you'd like to talk to Humble and Fred, call 1-833-437-8465. That's 1-833-HF-STINK. And now from the worldwide headquarters of the Humble and Fred Show, here are Humble and Fred.
Apparently it's National Day.
It's what?
It's National Day.
National what? Like something to do with the country?
I just heard as we started the show it was National Day, and I don't like to just, he knows more about Chinese history than we do, but
Oh, I think you know more than he does, Howard.
well, if I do, I've completely missed that it's National Day.
I think you've forgotten more about Chinese history than Phil knows.
Just before the show started, hi everyone. Phil just said it's National Day. And I said, every day is National Day. Do you not feel like half a dozen times a year, Sean, back me up, half a dozen times a year, he must say to us, oh, by the way, it's National Day. Like,
I learn about all the nations and their national days.
No, but so this isn't the first National Day that I can recall.
What is it, Phil?
Well, today is the anniversary of the rebellion that toppled the Emperor of China. So we call this Double Tenth or National Day. Mm-hmm.
And when did this happen?
Yeah,
like
when
a
did
couple
this
years
happen?
ago?
1911, October the 10th, 1911.
Oh, so in the last century.
Yep, there were a group of overseas Chinese, like my great-grandfather, who thought, why is there an emperor telling us what to do with our hair? And so they started donating money, crowdfunding, and that was the revolution.
Well,
Isn't that so? It was the 20th century, so it's not that it's not that
it's very
it's not that
close.
historic.
Yes.
all right, Mrs. Padmore.
It's like,
Who's that? Oh, from
from
Downton
Downton
Abbey. Yeah. Is that what it sounded like? I don't do voices.
No,
Maybe I'll do that one. I don't do
I
voices.
just didn't know who.
Carry
I was
the
trying to think of
pot.
an English woman that you would recognize. Mr. Carlson.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Bates.
Machine.
Oh, Mr. Bates.
Mrs.
Welcome, everyone. It's National Day.
Hello.
And hello. It's National Day on the Humble and Fred Show, and today we'll be speaking about all kinds of things. You will enjoy them. We're going to talk about our little cheeky Prime Minister again.
Oh,
Are we?
that fancy.
I'll tell you.
Was there a follow-up to the Prime Minister?
Yeah, we made the audio thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, he got some cool audio for you guys.
Interesting. I get a daily tracking as CTV News Nanos poll or something. CTV Global Mail Nanos, if that makes sense. Over the past month, the Liberals up 2.5 to 36.9. 2.3 rather. The Conservatives up 2.5 to 33.2%. And the NDP, with their superstar leader, they're down 2.5. So everybody loves Jagmeet. Nobody likes the party. It's too bad, eh? Like, really, if he was running the Liberals, can you imagine?
I ever since I saw the picture of him without his turban on, I liked him before. But ever since I saw that he had Eddie Vedder hair, I'm like, this guy's cool.
He's like Aquaman, Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Looks like really cool.
You know, you're right. That's who he looks like. He looks a little bit like that guy, Jason Momoa. He also looks, by the way, apparently that movie was heinous.
Yeah, unfortunately. I like.
But I also saw a little bit of Jean Gomeshi hair from the Moxie Fruvis years in Jagmeet's look.
When you say Eddie Vedder, you mean 90s Eddie Vedder,
Yeah,
right?
90s
or
Eddie Vedder,
early
not-
2000s. Yeah.
No, like original Eddie Vedder hair.
Because now he's like,
He's an old man.
yeah, he's got regular guy hair now.
Yeah. But in his day, Eddie Vedder had, pretty a mountain of one of those guys with a mountain of hair on his head. You don't see that much anymore. And when I saw that shot at Jagmeet, I'm like, that guy should be in charge of something.
But isn't that wild? In the past, yeah. So they're actually the party down 2.5%.
Yes.
Yet when in the poll, what leader do you like? He has skyrocketed. But that does you no good, right?
Kind of like what happened with Jack Layton. Jack Layton definitely pulled ahead of his party.
There's another... And Jack Layton, at one point he was the official opposition, but a bunch of bloc voters just parked their votes with the NDP for a couple of elections because they were mad at the bloc. And he got all those seats in Quebec, which were a little shady. Same with Jagmeet. That issue, religious symbols in the workplace in Quebec,
headgear and stuff like that.
It's odd. He doesn't want to touch that.
Nope.
Which is interesting. You know why he doesn't want to touch that? Because Quebecers like to park their votes with the NDP.
That's right.
So he doesn't want to go there. It's funny. Principle's a funny thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Enough of the politics.
Well, no, what I wanted to say is it just gets down to a couple days ago that, at some point, he and the party have great ideas, and I think legitimately all parties, all people that run, at some point, want the best for the rest of us. But at some point, it also comes down to strategy. So where's the integrity in not commenting on that ridiculous law in the most racist place I've ever lived?
And him of all people.
Him of all people. I moved from California to Quebec. I lived in a Spanish neighborhood. Then I lived in a Quebec or a French neighborhood, a Quebec neighborhood.
A Quebec neighborhood.
And I'm telling you, the most racist people I've ever been around. The most racist policies, overt racism, anti-Semitism.
And they stand behind nationalism, right?
Nationalism, ridiculous.
Quebec nationalism. Even what's his head? What's the idiot that is running the block now? Big mouth guy was on there.
Jean something, right? He's a no name.
Here we have a federal debate. Why is that guy on the stage when he's calling Quebec a nation? Like, this country is just way too accommodating. Like, the guy had no business being on the stage.
Fred, but said it for years.
Yeah.
How we have an official party in the country.
Yes.
Who gets up every day and their reason to be is to break up the country.
Leave.
And we're like, we'll give you guys some federal funding.
We're very nice. We're very nice and accommodating. Come on. But even you saw that clip I showed you last week of that old guy in Quebec going up to Jagmeet.
Yeah.
About the turban.
Take the turban off.
That guy was an NDPer. But when I heard John Moore talk about this being from Quebec. He basically said to the guy, "Hey, Jagmeet, we got to win this thing. You know how we might win it? You might want to take that thing off your head, and we might get somewhere."
And that's a guy in his own party.
But that Quebecer was saying it like he was doing him a favor. No,
and he probably was.
Nowhere in his mind was that racist or anything. It was like,
foul.
"Hey, buddy, come over here. Lose the headgear, and we're laughing."
or at least paint it in the. Montreal Canadian colors.
Exactly.
They do that with kippas, with yarmulkes.
Yeah.
The Jewish skull cap.
Yes.
You can get them with your favorite team logos on them.
Right.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's not insulting to the religion or anything?
I don't know.
Only if it's the Habs.
Is it printed or knitted? Because I've seen knitted skull caps.
Phil, I don't know. I just know that they're available. So why is that not available for Sikh headgear?
Sure.
Did we wear them at your? Would I have worn them at your wedding?
Of course.
I would have put one on.
You would have had to.
Is there pictures?
It's okay. Your head's not burned from where.
No, I'm just saying.
You're not going to get like an indentation where you wore a little hat.
Any of your wedding pictures? Is there a picture of me with my skull cap?
Well, if there isn't, I'm sure we can concoct one.
When's the last time you had one on?
At a funeral recently. Sometime in the last 5 years, I would have gone to Winnipeg, had to go to inside a synagogue and put one on.
Right. So anybody that enters the synagogue should put one on out of respect?
Theoretically, yeah, you're supposed to cover your head in the sight of God. That's why, by the way, that sentence I just uttered is the reason that all headgear is worn, to cover one, to humble oneself. No pun intended. To humble oneself in the sight of the Lord.
Right.
You have to cover your head.
Where I grew up in Scarborough, the local church, when you went in, you had to put a John Deere cap on.
Yeah. And then the collection plate was a box of, it's like a beer box.
Like something that contained a 2-4. Yeah?
Who makes 50?
Labatt 50.
Labatt 50. It was an old beer box, and they just turned into they fashioned it into a plate.
You threw your $2 bills in there, right?
That's right. Anyway, Jagmeet looks, and there is no getting around it. He definitely looks like a different character without the turban. I'm cool with turban Jagmeet. I'm also cool with Eddie Vedder Jagmeet.
Yeah. So what would that? No, you're more hip to religion than I am. So those pictures with him with that off. How does that work? Like, what is the significance of the turban? It's a religious symbol, obviously. But could he not, like, as of next week, go, I'm not going to wear this thing anymore. People seem to like my hair out.
That's a great question. I know there are... Well, here's my question. Are there Sikhs, I'm sure there must be, that don't wear turbans? So that's a choice to be made, I suppose, in terms of the level of observance.
Oh, yes.
But I don't know the answer to that.
My best friend in Brampton, his name was Sandeep, and so he wore... Oh, no, you were talking about personal choice and stuff. Right. He used to wear a turban that had, like, the weird bandana pattern on it. So obviously the bandana pattern wasn't religious. He just chose it because he liked it. So I assume the personal part of it is what color you like, what pattern you like.
No, but Fred's question was, can you just all of a sudden decide, I'm now going to observe at this level? I don't know. I don't really know if you're a Sikh, do you have to wear a turban?
You don't.
You don't.
You don't.
So he could drop the turban if he wanted to. But to your point originally, which is, he doesn't want to touch this issue in Quebec. And just restate it again for people who don't know what we're talking about.
Well, Bill, what is it? C-21, is it?
Yes, Bill, yes, C-21, which bans religious headgear of any kind.
In the workplace.
Yep.
And they asked him the other night, would you? And he more or less said no, he would not intervene. And that becomes super political because, as I say, the NDP has done very well in Quebec in, 2 of the 3 last elections because the Bloc, when Quebecers are mad at the Bloc, they park their votes with the NDP. That's why Jack Layton did so well. It wasn't the NDP. It was the Bloc that made him.
So there's this law in our country.
Yes.
Remember, Quebec is part of Canada, where in no other province, but in that little stinky province, you are not allowed to wear your religious headgear in the workplace.
Well, it hasn't passed yet, has it?
I believe it's already in effect.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
It's only public servants, though, so it's, you
I
can
don't
go to your
care,
regular
but that's
job.
still government.
Yeah,
That's still
exactly.
part of
It's a government job.
It's just so ridiculous that they're allowed to get away with that. And part of the reason is the rest of the government doesn't want to upset Quebec.
Yes. And I think they did it in Quebec to go after the face covering. So they just sort of threw a blanket over everything, right? So,
but if I'm a religious Jew, and I'm not, but if I were, and I
wish you were.
I'm pretty religious. Would I not be allowed to wear the hat or the kippah, or I guess not?
Nope.
But what's the difference if you worship the Maple Leafs, and maybe let's say in our workplace I didn't want you wearing a Leaf hat because that's your religion. It's the same thing. Like if I go to work in Quebec and I, have a Hab hat on, and I worship the Habs, I'm being quasi-serious.
It's not a religion, though.
Well,
although you could make it a religion, right?
It's as close to religion, if not more. People worship their hockey teams way more than they worship their Jesus.
That's right. I'll tell you. There's a lot of empty churches. There's no empty seats at the Bell Center.
Yep.
That's right.
St. Ty Domi, basically.
You know what's alarming, especially here in Ontario? The churches closing down.
Yes.
Like, it's wild. If you go on the real estate pages, all the churches now up for sale. And a lot of people are buying them and converting them into homes, but people aren't going anymore. I guess they're going to church online.
Please leave a message after the beep.
Dan Duran. That's my message. Does he not know we're calling today?
He should.
He should. It's Dan Duran time.
He's not there?
Oh, yeah, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I'm here.
No, we called a second ago, and I got a voice recording.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Did I leave a message of some sort? Like, hi, it's Dan Duran. Call me back when I'm less tied up.
I don't know what it... No, I just saw a woman answered. Skype woman.
The woman who tied him up.
He's busy.
All right, now you're an NDP, right, Dan?
I'm on this the more liberal side of things than the conservative side of things. That's what.
But are you now? But do you look at the NDP as like left-wing fringe wackos, or is that who you are?
Well, I don't look at it. Well, a little bit further than I like in general. Yeah.
All right. We were just talking about Jagmeet Singh, how cool he looks without his turban on. Looks cool with his turban on. I got no judgment. But
either do I. He's a good-looking man. Whenever I see a good-looking man, I just feel envious. That's all.
That's right.
What?
Speaking of nothing, it's fine. You're a funny character. Anyway, we're talking about the fact that in Quebec, they passed a law that civil servants are not allowed to wear religious headgear because they're super racist. But Jagmeet Singh, he doesn't want to talk about it, Dan. So when you talk to your buddy Jagmeet,
he doesn't.
Okay, he's my buddy now. Yeah. Okay, I'll mention it.
Jagmeet and Dan up in a tree.
He doesn't want to go there because he doesn't want to screw with those Quebec votes.
And here we go again with there's a little bit of hypocrisy in all walks of life in some ways.
Sure there is. Dan Duran's nailed it once again.
Well, we were saying too. I mean, as he has skyrocketed in the polls as what leaders do you like, but the NDP's actually gone down in the polls in the past month. So, how frustrating is that for them?
That's awesome. The NDP are going, we got a great guy in charge here, but everyone likes him, but they don't like us. What do you want to say, Sean?
They literally just put signs up in my area yesterday. That's the first time we've seen any NDP signs at all.
Well, what are your chances?
I know. It's never going to happen. Wellington,
in
Georgetown.
Georgetown.
Jesus.
Yeah. Blue all the way over
They
there.
can't even pronounce Jagmeet Singh where you live. Jagamita.
Well, it's funny when you look at the province. Out where you are, it's blue, and then as it gets into Brampton and south, it becomes red, and then as it hits the city, it goes orange.
Mm-hmm.
Well, without further ado and delay, here we go.
Dan Duran's weather, Dan Duran. Dan Duran's weather, Dan Duran. Dan Duran's weather, Dan Duran. Dan Duran's weather, Dan Duran.
Wow.
Dan Duran weather.
That's the Thursday edition of that song. I love it.
Dan Duran, this is the last live Humble and Fred show of the week. Of course, Phil Hong hosts the best of Humble and Fred. Fridays at 7, Saturdays at 7. What?
Maybe we should leave a hole in the recorded show so Dan could do a live weather on Fridays for us.
Live weather hit with Dan Duran 7 days a week.
Dan Duran live, Dan Duran.
Dan's
for those important weather days.
Oh yeah, these are important days.
Friday is important because
So having said that, we're not live again until Tuesday because of the Thanksgiving weekend. What's the weekend forecast, Dan Duran?
Well, we're going to continue with this lovely weather until Friday, and then things will change pretty dramatically on Saturday when we're going to get some showers. This is in southern Ontario, so if you have some listeners that are like in Winnipeg, you're going to get nailed this weekend. Well,
we're no longer servicing the Winnipeg market. We've stopped that.
Yeah, we've got the podcast. There must be one or two fans in that area.
Details. Not interested. What about southern Ontario?
We're going to be in kind of we're in a sweet spot actually because of there's this low pressure system that's coming through, but there's high pressure kind of on either side, and so when this cold front comes through on Saturday with that rain, the temperature is going to change, but it's going to be for the most part mostly sunny on Sunday and on Monday, though the temperatures won't be like 17s and 18s, kind of what we've been getting all week until we get to Friday. And then Saturday is going to be like 13, 11, but it's not going to be a washout. It's not going to be like just a few showers. Say about 9 o'clock in Toronto. You go further east, you're going to see the showers like near Peterborough in that area about noon, and then after that it's going to just dwindle off until maybe a chance of a shower or something on Saturday night.
Oh, you're talking Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay, and then but you think there's going to be some sunshine Sunday and the Monday?
Yes.
Well, generally speaking, that's not bad.
Not bad at all
at this time of year.
Yeah. and that's mainly for Toronto. Maybe a little bit more cloud if you get a little bit further east.
Dan, I'm going to be in Young's Point this afternoon between noon and 4. What can I look forward to?
You can look for sunshine.
Beautiful.
At Young's Point?
Yes.
What, are you going to hang out on the water there?
No, Cachuano.
Oh, Cachuano.
He's going to catch a wanna.
The golf
That's
course.
code. Oh, you're golfing.
Yeah, the cow pasture golf course.
I thought that was code. I thought that was country code for something. We're going to catch a wanna.
I hear there's not going to be much wind today either. Are you on the links today, Howard?
Yes, I'm completing the 4-day week of golf
Yes.
because I can today. I'm going to play again today, yeah.
You're just like Wally Crowder. You play golf every day. Just like they say Wally Crowder, another great morning man, played golf every day.
Well, thank you for comparing me to Wally Crowder. And for the sake of your bet, I won't dispute that. Mm-hmm. Because you know I don't golf every day.
Oh,
I
right.
can't. I'm not physically able anymore. But this week I'm pushing it.
Yeah.
So on golf courses on Thanksgiving weekend, did
Yes.
they release live turkeys?
Yes, they do.
Sort of to gobble around the course. And,
Have you ever seen a
add some
wild
color.
turkey?
Yeah, a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have. Mm-hmm. They're odd. What are they doing out there? They're just wild. What's their purpose? Anyone?
Peck at stuff.
No.
What are they doing out there? Where'd they come from?
The
trees.
Like any animal?
Sean's answer: the trees.
I'm guessing.
Are you high?
Trees.
Sean looks high today.
Yeah.
Well,
Wild turkeys,
yet.
you usually find those on the ground.
No, but where'd they come from?
flocks.
Did they come here from Turkey? Where'd they come from?
Pretty sure wild turkeys of the indigenous sort. They're usually kind of a black color, aren't they?
Well, we didn't have any in Saskatchewan, so whenever I see them somewhere, I'm always like, wow, those are wild turkey. On a golf course, I'll see a wild turkey. And I'll be like, wow, I never saw one of those growing up.
Yeah, I
It
don't know
must
how.
be Thanksgiving.
I don't know how they
yeah.
would.
Thanksgiving.
I don't know how they would taste a wild turkey.
Well, they're not
They're
wild
good.
at Thanksgiving.
A little gamier.
Yeah.
I don't like that game Italian. I tried some venison as a kid. I've tried some game meat. Not a big fan.
But
I'm
you were
sure
a kid then. Your palate probably has changed since, you didn't like those kinds of things, right?
I saw something Fred would love. I forgot till just this moment. I saw somebody has started taking down Canada geese.
It's funny you say that because I was going to say maybe that should be a significant part of Thanksgiving going forward. Mm-hmm. It's the 3 days that we can cull them. You're allowed to kill them anywhere, anytime. And then...
Like we can hand out especially a festive geese bats.
Yeah. or give them to homeless shelters to eat or whatever that is.
I can't. It's kind of a geese bat would be a cross between a bat and a cricket paddle. Just whack them. And anyone can do it. It's fun. Bring the kids. Like when you go to like the apple farm.
Right.
You go to a place where everyone in the family can kill a geese on Thanksgiving.
Picking corn, killing geese.
Although Delise always says, when I get up north and they've pooped all over my lawn, and then I start getting upset. And I'll tell you, if one came by here right now, I'd whack it right over the head. No, you wouldn't. She said, if push come to shove, you wouldn't kill one.
No, exactly.
And
I
she's
know you.
probably right.
Oh, she is
I'd
right.
come close.
Oh, here's what would happen.
I might just strangle him.
No, you'd be all talk like, oh, you Canada geese. And you come over and go, hi, buddy, want some yogurt? Next thing you know, there'd be a geese in here every morning. Who's that? That's Stan Jr.
Have you ever been around a Canada goose when they have babies?
Oh, yeah.
The way they get their wings up and they start hissing at you? I wouldn't take one on. No way.
We don't have time.
All right.
Go ahead.
On cue.
Hello.
We got no time. There's Stan. Stan's just barking up a storm.
Hello.
We got to take a break. Dan, thank you very much for providing a comprehensive weather. We appreciate it.
My extreme pleasure. And
I
have
want you to
yourself
know-
a fantastic weekend.
We really appreciate it. I know it's only week 2, but I look forward to this little opening to the show every day, and it's always nice to hear your voice, and I feel like we're, getting back in touch, the two acquaintances. And I wish you and your family the happiest of Thanksgivings.
All right. Thank you so much.
Dan Duran Weather,
See you
brought
there.
to you by danduran.com for all your Dan Duran needs. All right. We'll be right back. It's Humble and Fred Radio on Canada's comedy superstation, Funny 820, and on the Bell family of stations. We appreciate that. And, of course, live on Twitch, on Facebook, and at humbleandfredradio.com.
Us at Humble and Fred at humbleandfredradio.com or visit our website, humbleandfredradio.com.
Yeah, Wally, I remember some of the stories about
Like, it's
Wally.
as easy as me buying one copyright-free track, which is $1 or $2.
Us at Humble and Fred at humbleandfredradio.com.
theme
Or
song
it
for
could
us.
just be Phil stuff singing.
Yeah, Wally, I remember some of the stories.
Yeah, I just, it's
No, I'm
as
saying,
easy as
Phil,
buying
send him all the
one
parody songs that you
copyright-free
wrote.
Well, how
track
does
for $1 or $2.
Twitch decipher though whether it's
Or it could just be Phil stuff singing.
Yeah, Wally, I remember some of the stories.
Yeah, it's
No, I'm saying, Phil, send him all the parody songs that you wrote.
well, how does Twitch decipher though whether it's
Or it could just be Phil stuff
we
singing.
have a
Yeah,
lot
Wally, I remember some of the stories.
Yeah, it's
No, I'm saying, Phil, send him all the parody songs that you wrote.
well, how does Twitch decipher though whether it's
yeah, so
Or it could just be Phil stuff
we
singing.
have a
Yeah,
lot
Wally, I remember some of the stories.
Yeah,
No, I'm saying, Phil, send him all the parody songs that you wrote.
well, how does Twitch decipher though whether it's
yeah,
Or it could just be Phil stuff
we
singing.
have a
Yeah, Wally, I remember some of the stories.
No, I'm saying, Phil, send him all the parody songs that you wrote.
Yeah,
Or it could just be Phil stuff singing.
yeah, Wally, I guess I just didn't
I'm
realize.
saying, Phil, send him all the parody songs that you wrote.
Yeah,
Or it could just be Phil stuff singing.
yeah, Wally, I guess I just didn't
I'm
realize.
saying, Phil, send him all the parody songs that you wrote.
Yeah.
that's an invitation for trouble,
Mm-hmm.
especially nowadays.
And now that we have option to do ads, we make money off that. This is a
Well,
good time for me to
listen, we're
do
gonna.
5-minute ad
point,
block.
yeah, the point is we're gonna need to talk it over because we're just two guys trying to not go out of business.
Of course.
And
I wanna put 5
So if
minutes
I
on.
go to Facebook, I can watch this Facebook Live.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I share that live video
Okay, so where?
all over the
where-
place.
So this is it here?
Yep.
and
The
Jeremy,
Facebook Live is the Twitch.
your book is
Yeah,
called
same
Sticky
thing.
Branding, Global Mail
Couldn't
bestseller.
we use
You're
this
coming in
to
here
just
to
do
talk about
Facebook Live, not through Twitch?
Doing
Would that-
fantastic. I'm Howard,
Yeah,
by the way. I get up. I know it's rude not to, but
just
my
the
problem,
income
my back
is
is
only
so
through
sore.
Twitch.
If I get up, I get back down. You met Stan. We're
problem
gonna
with
talk about
copyright
this. I
is
love this
usually
shit.
Folks who choose to
We're gonna.
enforce it.
Have you ever
I'm
heard
sorry?
of us?
It's usually folks who
Okay.
choose to enforce
Well,
it.
there
So
you
let's
go.
say if
Right.
Howard plays Steely Dan,
Yeah, that's
Hey, thanks,
pretty.
buddy.
Thanks, man.
Warner, oh, thank you so much.
Jeremy, we're looking forward to this.
Like-
So, Phil, we're gonna do five, guys. When we come back, listen to Chamber Plan, CDN, and then the Leaf. Just a quick shout out. Let's not read any Leaf things now, but let's just
And
quickly
we
give.
gotta always mention that Sherpa's giving one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, this should be the last commercial.
Okay, thank you.
So if Howard plays Steely Dan, and Steely Dan's record label is Warner Music, they throw the clamp as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But then you've got other companies for some reason who don't care. So it just
Yeah.
depends on what we're playing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think yesterday we.
But we have enough stuff, Phil, to fill it. We can fill it with our
Absolutely, we
own
can fill it with
stuff.
some other stuff that isn't copyrighted. Do they pick up on parody songs? Because
No, they won't get it. They won't even make any sense to them.
You're so asking for why was they recognized?
Yep. And
I believe we're coming back.
This is Humble and Fred,
Lucky
only
guess.
on 2820.
Like a rocket to
Gordy Sampson. The song is called Paris, Phil. It's made a hit by.
You're on Twitch. You're listening on
drunk on cheap champagne. Tonight this joie de vivre sure don't live. I just remain. Now all that I can say is that give this world to you. Every rock and every
And welcome back, everybody.
every masterpiece in Rome.
How do I make it so that it's not feeding back while I do the show?
And if you
Where's that?
ask me to, well, I'd still
On my computer?
So when you go onto our Humble and Fred stream on Twitch,
Yes.
there's a bottom left icon with the speaker on it. Just
Oh,
click
there
on
it
it.
is, yeah.
There you go.
All right, welcome. It's Humble and Fred Radio. We're doing a radio show on the radio, and of course you can watch us on Facebook. You can watch us on Twitch. We are going to be speaking to Jeremy Miller, who's author of Sticky Branding and a Brand New Name. We love talking about this stuff, branding, the way the world works, and now is the daisies in nowadays times. Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm well. How you doing? How you
I'm
feeling?
all right. Yeah,
You
I'm
okay?
getting better. Yeah, a little.
Okay.
Did you get my no?
I did. It was very... made me sad, and it also made me laugh.
What did I say? You asked me how I was, and I said
A little less pancreatic cancer-y and a little more stomach problem-y.
Yeah, a little less pancreas cancer.
Good Lord.
So, Jeremy Miller's coming up here in a second or two. It's going to be a fascinating conversation. Yes, sir.
I'm saying for the sake of the show, that's almost disappointing. But anyway.
Seriously, me too. I was like, oh, please.
What?
Please let it be stage 4 pancreas cancer.
No, don't say that.
Please.
No.
For the sake of the bit. It's fall, right? I mean, it's the fall book, man.
Whoa.
It's a fall book.
It's your brand.
All right. Well, we're going to talk branding with this Jeremy Miller character. Young man came in here just a few minutes ago looking all bushy-tailed and stuff. Look at him. Young. Look at the youth.
Yeah.
Your stomach doesn't bother you. Bet your hiatus hernia isn't sliding up and down like a yo-yo.
Why are you yelling at him?
I don't know. I got a problem. I do.
Did you guys both get haircuts?
No.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, it
I
looks
didn't.
good.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
And what is this?
Good as it
Looks
can.
like a haircut?
It looks like a haircut, yeah. Got them all cut.
Does it look does it look good?
Yeah, it does. It looks shorter. It looks shorter.
Well,
Maybe-
my
or maybe
product's
just-
working.
Is
The problem with me, when I get a haircut, it exposes more of my head, and that's not a good thing. But anyway.
Listen, if we're going to continue this Twitch theme, can we get actors to play us? Because I watched a little bit of the feed last night. It's just not good. The lighting in here is bad. It's like an airport washroom. It is. I did this on the
Yes.
weekend. You never know that lighting in the airport washroom. I went in. I thought, I wasn't feeling great, but I went in and I thought I should go right to the hospital.
Yeah, it's awful. It's really awful.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what I go in and I'm like, I thought I looked cute. What are these bags?
I almost wanted to
bloated
find
and
another mirror
awful.
somewhere. I
Yeah.
went back to Rachel. I go, do I look sick to you? Because she's like, what's up, honey? I said, I went to the washroom and I'm just questioning everything about myself.
That's exactly how I felt the last time I was in an airport, which
You know,
is
they've
like
got
2
those
weeks ago.
buttons, Fred. I guess I'm not sure if they have them here at Pearson, but they have
do.
them at LaGuardia where you press the button based on what you thought the washroom cleanliness and
Yeah.
experience was.
Yes.
I was given green.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just pressed green.
I would say don't press that button. People press it as they exit.
That's a great point. Isn't that the best point? Don't press the button because it's got feces on
Of
it.
all the buttons.
Of all the buttons you could press.
Yeah, but feces helps keep that immune up, you know? Mm-hmm. Creates, helps, keep that wall strong.
Had no idea.
Gut motility.
The probiotic.
Yeah,
Yes.
probiotics,
They put
sure.
that's why they put rat feces in yogurt.
See,
Good
I
morning.
that's why I like going into dingy bars. The mirrors are usually broken.
And that's why every morning has a nice cup of Yo Play Poo.
That's what
Yo
it
Plu.
is.
Yo Plu.
I had one this morning.
Anyway, don't press the button because you can't be certain of the people. And because I watch a lot of people just go to the washroom and walk right out.
Yep.
Don't even try. Don't even make a pantomime where they're pretending to wash their hands.
You ever do that? Where you're like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm fine. I'm super clean. I'm just going to turn the water on for a second.
So anyway, we're going to talk to Jeremy Miller here in a second. We're going to get him settled. Guys, let's get some microphones on Jeremy. I'm going to turn yours off for a second, Phil, while we do it. First, let's talk about the chamber plan. Friedrich?
Canada's #1 plan for employee benefits. Chamber of Commerce Group Insurance Plan is what it's called. Chamberplan.ca is how to find them. You can get a free quote for your small business. Oh, yeah. 30,000 Canadian businesses part of it. They've been around 40 years. Health and dental insurance, travel insurance. They have an HR component. I mean, it really is something. Very simple to sign up. It's stable because of the numbers, and it's a smart thing to do for your employees. It really is. A secure employee is a happy employee. You know that. Figure it out. Chamberplan.ca.
Pretty happy to have our latest new sponsor. You want to talk about branding. Every time somebody signs up and becomes a partner of the Humble and Fred Show, it just makes us feel like the branding is working, that the equity we have is paying off in some way, and we're pleased and proud to welcome CDN Technologies.
Yes, fantastic.
Are you searching for an IT company because you're dealing with ongoing issues? Is your network unbelievably slow? Is your current IT spending hours on a 1 hour problem? Are you worried about getting hacked? Hacked or a data breach? Go to cdntechnologies.com. Barb Paluskowicz and her team will take care of you with backups and recovery, IT security, IT services, and IT support. CDN Technologies. cdntechnologies.com. This book has a lot of names. Yeah. For a book that's about, I'm assuming about, sticky branding and such, I'm looking at the cover. I'm not 100% sure what it's called. A proven brand, step-by-step process to create new name and unforgettable brand name.
Yep.
The book is called Brand New Name, and our friend and author is here. Please welcome Jeremy Miller, everybody. Jeremy's here. You know that? How are you? Let's get a microphone in front of Jeremy's mouth there.
Oh, okay.
Sean set it up for him. Yeah, a little tech support. There we go. Jeremy, how are you?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Woo.
How you doing?
I'm great. You?
Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
That phrase, sticky content, the stickiness of something, has been around for a while, but how do you incorporate that into this book, and what's the book about?
So the first book was called Sticky Branding, and that's how do you get people to choose you first. It's that stickiness, getting someone to remember you. The new book that just came out last week, Brand New Name, is all around how do you name something. And being an entrepreneur for 15 years now, I've had to name multiple companies, had to name my own products, and there's only 2 books on Amazon on this topic, and neither of them helped me. So I thought I needed a tool, and most entrepreneurs and business owners needed a tool to be able to name their stuff.
Can you give me an example of something that was named poorly and because of its poor name sold poorly or didn't stick with the public? And I think there's an example in your book I just saw quickly. Somebody open it up. Is it the Edson? The Edsel.
The Edsel. Well, is it the name that made the Edsel bad, or was it that when they launched they had 30 variants and 30 models and it was just ugly? Like the public went and looked at this car and went, nope, this thing sucks. And then Edsel Ford's name is forever tarnished because was it the name that screwed up the brand, or was it bad product?
So
I'd say bad product.
So it was a bad product. The name was okay.
Yeah. I don't think there's such thing as bad names. Sure, if you took an old folks home and called it Purple Taco, that's probably not the best thing to call it.
Well, how important is it to name something for what it is, if you understand what I mean?
Like something that's descriptive.
Yeah.
But if I may, Jeremy and Fred, listen, if I get old and you put me in the Purple Taco retirement home, I would love it.
It's the perfect
Yeah,
nursing
it's the
home.
perfect. Isn't that the me and Barker both going, that's where I want to end up. Where's Howard these days? I think he's at Purple Taco. Is he really? He got in. Yeah, there's a waiting list.
Isn't that just for old women?
See, the positioning on this we've got a strategy
we're
right
on
now.
Brand. We're always on brand.
Always
here
on
at the
brand.
Humble and Fred Show.
Poop, pee, and purple tacos.
That's right.
And this is where I think it's fun, is that there's no such thing as a bad name. It's just bad strategy. So if you've got a designer, quirky old folks home that's called Purple Taco, and it sells and people like it,
right?
That's great.
Yeah, but there's a lot of work between naming and making it part of the vernacular or something that people know.
100%. Because the name is a vessel. If you think of it, your name, we know Humble and Fred by your name. I've been listening to you forever. So, like, in terms of, like, being a 90s kid, you probably raised me or formed more of that than I want to admit. But I know you by Humble and Fred. That is the label in the file folder in my mind. And all those experiences, all those stories, all that history is contained in that name. Now, your name didn't make your brand. It's that 30 years of work. It's the experiences and the quality of your programming. And that's what we know of a brand. It's the experiences. But the name is what we know of it. Like, let's take a Canadian example. Heinz's versus French's.
Right.
We can have a debate, and in 2 words, we knew what we were just talking about.
Right.
I know, and it's funny because Heinz ketchup probably has the bigger and better reputation. But everybody I talk to says French's taste better.
And it's Canadian.
No, but you know what I mean. But Heinz, regardless of the taste, still seems to be the big one.
And that's where and that's the interesting part of brand. Then is preference isn't actually what you like. Like it's remember the Pepsi challenge. Like people would taste it, they prefer Pepsi, and then they go, "Oh my God, don't change my Coca-Cola to Coke New." Like
Yeah,
like people
they were
lose their mind.
rioting, and people are having a really. There's a whole thing on CNN about it this weekend.
Jeremy Miller is the author of a brand new. It's called Brand New Name.
Brand New Name.
And he's the author of also the other one that you wrote is Sticky Branding.
Yeah.
What is it called when the name of something, the brand name of something, I want to get this right, becomes the colloquial. Is that the word?
Like Kleenex.
Like Kleenex.
Or fridge.
Like
Generic.
Coke. Like when
Generic.
you ask for a Coke, they'll say sometimes, will Pepsi be okay? Because because what's anyway, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's become genericized.
Right.
And that's actually a problem for organizations because if you are too generic, you can actually lose your trademark on that. And so if you think of Zamboni, they have gone out of their way for 40, 50 years to manage that name so it doesn't become a generic term for all Zamboni manufacturers.
And like a Scott tissue, people grab a box of Scott tissue and says, "Oh, I got the Kleenex."
Yeah. And that to me, that's the pinnacle of branding.
Well, that happens to that's why I brought it up because that happens to very few companies. But I never really considered what you said, that it can be so generic that you lose you lose your equity in the brand.
You lose your trademark.
You lose your trademark. Jeremy Miller is here to tell you that naming brands isn't easy, but it's an interesting read. And the book it's you know what? It's one of those books that you could read on the plane, you could read on vacation, you could read right now. But it's very interesting because a lot of the brand names that we see every day, Whole Foods, Crate and Barrel, Facebook, those are all brands, and they were created, and we've come to know them. And it's a great read to find out some of the history of it. And how they're done.
Like there's a good example. Facebook sort of is what it says it is.
Yes.
And then there's other ones like, you remember Rogaine years ago when Rogaine was first advertised on television? I really didn't know what that was because the name and what it is, to me, was a total disconnect. Like Viagra. Why wouldn't that be called Megabone?
Why?
I'd
No,
buy
you know
it.
what I mean? Yeah. But I mean more to what it is.
So there's three categories.
Hold on a second. May I answer that one? No,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Jeremy.
I think we do need a brand called Megaboner.
Yes.
Just putting that on the table now.
Megabone.
Megabone. Come on,
Megabone.
Jeremy.
It's
not Megaboner.
Let's not be rude.
We've got children listening to this show.
The 12-year-old me kicked in.
Let's not be rude. That's awesome.
So there's three types of names. You can have a descriptive name. It tells you what it is. You can have a suggestive name. It gives you an indication of what you're going to get. Or you can have an abstract name like Viagra, where it's an empty vessel. I think there are interesting kinds of names in all categories. For example, my favorite descriptive name is Big Ass Fans.
Yeah.
They're literally big ass 9-meter fans that you put up in a warehouse.
Get it? Yeah.
And they were actually started out life as high volume, low frequency fans, HVLS. And their customers started calling up and saying, "Hey, are you the guys that sell those big ass fans?" And they adopted it.
Means nothing to the layman, right? Like the
Yeah, the
original name.
The original,
stuff.
yeah. I can't even say it out
But
loud.
how smart the company is to do that, to go, you know what, we'll just call ourselves Big Ass. We'll call ourselves what the public calls us.
It's so memorable. Like I know the first time I saw a Big Ass Fan was in Dominican, I think. They're in the airports there. And you immediately, it's the first thing you see when you're picking up your luggage and you look up, you're like, ha ha, look at that. It says Big Ass Fan. That's so funny. Is it Canadian? Is it a Canadian company?
No, it's a U.S. company.
Oh, wow.
And their brand identity is amazing. Their logo is the back of a donkey.
That's great.
Another company that sort of is what they say they are is Untucked Shirts.
Yeah.
You know, because there was, you know, and I love the commercials, but it's a problem that was sort of identified. A lot of guys don't like to wear dress shirts untucked because they come down to whatever. And what a great name for a company that tells you exactly what you're getting.
Yeah.
A shirt that looks good untucked.
Exactly. And I would say you don't have to be the Toronto accounting firm as a descriptive name. Yeah, that's technically a descriptive name, but you like Untucked Shirts, like Big Ass Fans. These are creative, evocative names that you remember. And that's part of what great branding is how do you stand out and make people know you so that they're going to come back and create that loyalty and that equity. And now those experiences that you're creating are then encapsulated in just a brilliant term.
So how does this work? Somebody calls you up, for example, and says, I have this product, but we haven't named. What is the best way to name it, or what is the best route? And what would you do? Look at the product and then decide like what the clientele is, and then make a decision from all that? Because some products are what they are named for what they are, and others aren't. Right. How does that happen?
So one of the frustrations I have as an entrepreneur is there's a lot of content that goes out on the internet, books and guides and other things, and there's this old meme that goes out that says how to draw an owl in 2 steps. And the first step 1 is draw 2 circles. Step 2, draw the rest of the damn owl. And there's all this content that goes out there, and then the idea is go to an agency to have them do the work for you. As an entrepreneur, I get annoyed with that. So this book actually gives you everything you need to name something. It includes a 3-stage naming sprint. Okay. So the first thing that you need to start with when you're building your strategy is a strategy. What are you naming? What's it going to take to stand out? And so the book actually includes the exercises on how to do that. Then we take you into a creative sprint. What I'm going to argue is inside every organization is a ton of creative genius. Everyone has creative potential. But most of the time, especially in organizations, we're too busy. We don't actually consider the smart people that work for us. So I give you the exercises and tools to empower your team to do the naming work. And then there's process to actually test and select it. So do you need to go hire me? No. Buy the book. For $20, you can name something.
But I think what Fred was kind of getting at, though, is that what happens in your day-to-day business when you're not authoring? Are you in the consultative business of helping companies name new brands?
For sure. So I definitely get into that. And I facilitate the sprint or the naming process that I just talked about. But yes, helping companies build their brand, build their strategy is what I do day to day.
Interesting what you say about using your people, because remember we used to complain about that in the radio business quite often.
Yeah.
The most creative people were the last ones they went to as far as promoting or marketing the radio station.
Yeah, the process in our, in the 90s when you listened to us on the radio, you would imagine that we would be involved in every aspect of the promotion, but except for Humble and Fred's Really Tough Contest, where we were involved in the creation of it, because it was a creative, along with Phil. But a lot of times they would come up with ideas, contesting and stuff, and by the time they got to us, we were like, this is not us. This is not our brand, and we're the last ones to hear about it. Right. And we always used to find that curious, that somewhere along the line they wouldn't say, hey, you guys are going to execute this. Do you want to be involved in even the naming of it?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about names and brand identity, because I had mentioned this earlier in the week. Didn't know you were coming in, but I was talking about that fairly famous TED Talk of Simon Sinek. Sinek's talking about why people purchase anything is because of what it says about them. How important is the name of a brand for people to identify with? You know what I'm saying? Like, whether you're a Nike or an Apple person or you're a Whole Foods person, how important is that name in connecting people with the product?
It's a great question. So, and it's not an easy answer. So the thing is, when you think of Nike, it's an abstract name. But what we know of Nike is Michael Jordan and Tiger and all these varying athletes and the products and the advertising campaigns and Just Do It. And so is Nike what made the brand? No. Nike actually came in, I believe, 10 years after the company was already established. So does the name make the brand? No, but a great name like Big Ass Fans will accelerate it. Okay. So I fundamentally believe that you need substance, that your brand is a lagging indicator. It's what we know of you. So the experience I've had with Humble and Fred today, but also the 30 years of experiences I've had with you form my relationship with you. And so where you go, I will follow. And you've created that not by your name, but by the work that you have done. And that's the piece we have to recognize, is that marketing doesn't make the brand. Your products, your services, the way you serve your clients, the way you engage with them, That's actually what does it.
Have you come across a company, and that voice you're hearing is Jeremy Miller. His book is called Brand New Name, a follow-up to Sticky Branding. Very interesting stuff. And even if you're not looking to brand a company, this is a great read. Just because of if you're curious about marketing at all. And we're only getting a couple more minutes with you before we go. And at the beginning of that sentence, I had a question for you, but now I've lost it.
But naming can also mean revenue, obviously, from the standpoint where if you were Nike, your product can actually be lesser in quality, but cost more because of the name that's been established.
100%. So a name then becomes competitive immunity, that once you've established your brand and people know that name. Like, think, you go to the grocery store and you want to buy detergent. You go and you might be Tide Person, you might be Gain. You don't think about it. You go, you grab it. Doesn't matter what's in the container. You take the name and you walk out.
Right.
And that is where that equity comes from.
I know what I was going to ask you. If you come across a client who had a name and they said, this is what we want, and you went, no, don't call it that. Like, you just can't do that.
Oh, you come across that. So one of the greatest gifts to naming is Urban Dictionary. And you get to phrases where you're like, nope, we're just not going to use that.
That's right.
I learned the colloquialism of
it's
that.
Like from The Princess Bride. That name, I don't think it means what you think it means.
Like Megabone, they would think, oh, you know, you couldn't put this on TV.
Well, they tested Megabone.
Yeah.
And the focus groups.
It wouldn't go well on television, like on CBS and stuff like that.
But it's often, that's the funny part, is when a name has a quirk, like Megabone or Big Ass Fans or Slack, that's actually what makes them most memorable. It's if they are like everyone else, a functionally good name is actually the ones that are least memorable.
Well, listen, man, this was great to meet you. Jeremy's new book is called Brand New Name. And if you're watching us on Facebook and Twitch, look at it. It's beautiful.
It is.
Plan, Sprint, Select. This brilliant book, according to Al Reese, co-author of Positioning, The Battle for Your Mind, a book I've heard of. Jeremy Miller's brilliant book will help you solve the biggest problems in marketing today. And you certainly helped us solve a problem of how do we kill this half hour. That was awesome, man.
Thank you.
And where's this book available, sir?
Wherever books are sold, Amazon, Indigo, you name it.
Kindle, can I get it on my Kindle?
Of course. Kindle, Nook, Kobo.
Love all that stuff. You know, it's funny how just all of a sudden names pop up, things you hadn't heard of. Like, I hadn't heard of TikTok.
Oh, wow.
Hadn't heard about it until quite recently.
What is that?
It's a new video.
It's like Vine.
It's like Vine. It's like Snapchat. It's kind of isn't
that the kids are really.
The kids are freaking on it.
I did an audition. I was running a session for a toy company yesterday, and I had all these 10-year-old girls, and they were all doing some weird hand thing that they had seen on TikTok. I don't know what it is. It's like a this or something. It's like the new Fortnite dance.
Well, it's one of those things like when my daughters now, like I don't think, because last I heard from them, they were doing Vines and Snapchats, but I think it's even like younger.
No, yeah, they're too old for TikTok.
They're too old for it now.
Yeah, these girls were 10, and that's what they're into.
My mom always used to have Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad would say, Joni, give me a TikTok, would you?
And then, of course, she would slip in one of the mega bones and say, we're going to freshen your breath, Dickie.
And her purple taco.
Freshen that breath. We're about to have some fun. What's this mega bone? We'll be right back. It's Humble and Fred Radio on Canada's Comedy Superstation, Funny 820, and, of course, at humbleandfredradio.com.
You can give them away, you can read them. Okay. People, okay. They're for you.
No, I understand, but that costs you money.
Thank you for this.
Oh, man, that was great.
Terry, what's that CBC show, Terry?
Terry O'Reilly?
Yeah.
Persuasion.
The Age of Persuasion.
Yeah, he's amazing, too.
Yeah, this Haagen-Dazs story is really interesting.
It's total gibberish.
The what?
This is,
Haagen-Dazs.
we didn't hit it, but
they made up the name.
all children's toy brands, they're misspelled.
What's that?
Play-Doh, every children's toy brand. We're just trying to break our kids.
Oh, really? That's
They're
interesting.
misspelled.
Oh, yeah,
Play-Doh,
Play-Doh.
Fruit Loops, Slip and Slide. Like Fruit Loops is F-R-O-T.
Yeah.
Right. Go down the cereal.
It's funny because my daughter is...
So what's your point there?
No, it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Like just go down Toys R Us. Well, Toys
Yeah.
R Us.
My daughter works in advertising, but she works in brand strategy.
That's my core work.
She's coming home tomorrow, so I'm going to leave it in the bedroom. Do you mind?
No, give it.
In fact, would you do me a favor? Oh, you've already signed it. Perfectly. Just do me a little favor, if you wouldn't mind. Just put to Charlie. Actually, to Charlie and James, because that's her work partner.
Charlie with an I-E?
Charlie I-E, C-H-A-R-L-I-E, and James, J-M-A-M-E-S, yeah. That's great.
And
yeah,
I'm speaking if they're available. I'm launching this at Rotman on Tuesday night at 5 o'clock, doing a 1 hour talk.
I couldn't tell you. I know they're in town. They live in New York, but they're only in town for the week.
Got it.
But she's this is kind of the similar, not naming so much, but she works with, like, she was in traditional advertising, worked at Leo Burnett here, and then she went to this a company, a small boutique shop in New York called the Co-Collective. And what they do is they do strategy for brands before it gets to the advertising. Right? They help brands craft internal messages. She works with IBM Watson and a few companies like that. It's pretty heady shit for a kid.
That's all analysis.
Yeah, it's all interesting. Anyway, she's coming back, and I know that she'll love this. At the very least, thank you very much for that. What a pleasure meeting you.
Likewise.
We always talk about the brand equity in our name, and you sort of helped make that make sense, because there is when we started our own podcast and our own business, because this is just owned by him and I, we just wondered, did we have enough brand equity in the market to get enough people even remotely interested in us again, but also to sell it? And it turned out the answer is yeah.
I think, everyone I talked to before coming on, everyone knows. Like in Toronto, especially kid, I'm 43, so growing up, 1990.
Yeah, I know you're in the same age group as Amanda. All that '90s kids.
I think the humble part is key too, because it's not. It's not Bill and Fred. It's you know what I mean. And
it's a memorable name.
Yeah.
It's a memorable show. It's funny.
But you make a good point. If we just had a quirky fucking name and nothing behind it, it wouldn't matter. You look great today, by the way. Are you dressed for a show or something?
No.
All right.
No.
Just for me.
I got to film people today. So.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Jeremy, we'd love to have you in. And again, if there's an opportunity, Amanda will keep in touch. And
name the day. I'm local, so I'm happy.
Well, I really appreciate it.
We can go lots of nerd.
Oh no, absolutely. And
you're right around here somewhere?
I'm just in Mississauga, so 15 minutes, 20 minutes away.
Okay, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming in.
Thanks, buddy. Good to see you.
Have a great morning.
Thank you so much.
Let's do. What do you want to hear? Grace 2, Ahead by a Century, Courage, New Orleans is Sinking, Greasy Jungle.
Why do you want to play?
Something. Some want to play a hip song coming back. Greasy Jungle, Nautical Disaster. That's all I got.
What were the upbeat ones?
Who?
What were the upbeat ones?
Head by Century, Courage. Courage, okay. Got it. Yeah, you,
We're auditioning for, which I'm not supposed to talk about it off-air-ish, for an M. Night Shyamalan. What?
So if you're able to say
What if I just, in my 60s, just become this character?
I'm telling you, you would book. You'd ours. How am I supposed to have this conversation with you? Then you'd have to go to auditions.
I know.
Like today, if you had nothing.
I can go golfing.
But in the winter?
Yeah, I'm going to do it all winter. Go to auditions.
Winter actor.
It's not on camera.
Oh, on camera.
Make it bone.
Purple taco.
This program, a Humble and Fred show, brought to you by Purple Taco Retirement Homes and Megabone.
Megabone.
The Humble and Fred sexual enhancer that's guaranteed to get you the purple. What?
Purple taco?
Hey, Phil. Come on, man.
Sort of go together, right? Megabone.
Oh.
Purple taco.
Believe me, we were there.
Yeah, we did. I was trying to separate the two in my. Opening
Oh, we
remarks.
were there. We lived there.
That's right. Barker and I just our eyes met. Went okay. Well,
Yeah, we both-
it'll be there.
You can
We'll meet in
It'll be
Purple
there.
Taco.
It'll be there when we want it.
That purple taco just
That's
sits
right.
there,
It sits there. You guys were talking, Barker.
throbbing
and I.
with
First to Purple
possibility.
Taco. No, really. If somebody said to Charlie and Spencer, 15 years from now, whatever happened to your dad? And they said, well, he was lucky enough to get into the Purple Taco retirement home. I think they'd go, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Do you think they'll change retirement homes? Like, do you think there's going to be a hipster retirement home with like food trucks and?
Yeah, probably.
Like, I feel like it's definitely time, because any of us who go to a retirement home for our loved ones, you look at it and you usually go, this is not how I envision my
No.
last potentially
It's
20
Dickensian.
Yeah.
It's bleak.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason.
Even the good ones.
That's part of what bothers me about retirement.
Yeah.
You're entering, the day you retire, you're entering the last stage of your life on some level. And people can, life can be exciting and everything, but really, there's school, there's work, there's retirement, there's death. And for some reason that bothers me
It
a
should,
bit.
though.
And it's same. I sat
Yeah.
next at men's night last night. I sat next to somebody I didn't really know that well. Again, humble and Fred listener in his
Yeah.
late 40s and 90s kid. And he said, "Are you and Fred still doing it?" I said, "Yeah, we have we sort of part time now, not like it was back in the Edge days." But I said, "I can't wait to go to work tomorrow." I said, "I only work 4 days a week, so I look like okay. We got a fun show, and why wouldn't you do this? Because if in the absence of this, what's my day?"
Yeah.
I'd be sitting on the couch watching CP24 probably.
I'd be watching the European tour.
Yeah.
Don't make me watch the European tour. Come on. I like the European tour.
You go to Florida a lot. You both do. That's what it is.
Yeah, but I don't want that life. I don't want that to be my full-time life.
No, but what's great about, I used to say this about going to the Tin Palace. One of the best parts of it was not being there. The anticipation of going.
Sure.
All of a sudden, if you're there all the time, the magic's gone. Same with Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
I think during the winter, if every so often you go away, it's something to look forward to. But
Right.
if you're there all the time, what do you do every day?
The benefit you guys have is that self-starter mentality, though, and that's the problem. Most people are so used to working for the man that when the man is gone, then there's almost no idea of how to create within.
Yeah.
I think it's why women live longer, because typically we're just used to having to do that. Whether even
Yeah.
being a homemaker, it's that trying to create your own entertainment every day and your
Women
own
do better in
fulfillment.
divorce because they're used to having community. They're used to going out and sharing with friends. Men isolate.
Yeah.
Honestly, they do. Late divorces kill men.
Yeah.
Later life divorces kill men faster than women because men in their 60s when they divorce are just lost.
In casting, I'll tell you, the most bitter group are men in their late 50s. They're so bitter. The women are fine. The women of the same age who have been through similar things, they're fine. And I don't know why exactly. I think to some degree the women are used to singing for their supper, so it's all the same to them. You know?
What are they bitter over?
They'll sit there and go, well, she never brings me in. Well, I don't get seen for this anymore. Well, there's no parts. The industry wasn't what
But
it
to be
used
fair,
to be.
both female and male actors, they can be a little bit bitter and whiny anyway. Some of them.
Actors are whiny.
Yeah,
period.
whiny.
Sure.
You know,
Absolutely.
I just imagine my daughter's getting a call. Charlie, you should come in. This is the Purple Taco calling. Your father's been upsetting the staff. He keeps saying, "Where's my Mega Bone?" He won't stop asking for Mega Bone by name. Ask for Mega Bone by name. By Pfizer.
Sorry, in your plan, we don't. It doesn't say here that we're going to shower your father.
That's right. Charlie, your plan doesn't call for Megabone or showers. He keeps calling for a massage with a happy ending. We don't do that here
Different
at the
type of
Purple
shower.
Taco. Speaking of being self-starters, I mentioned I'm going back to doing some stand-up on Friday night during the 9 o'clock show at the Burlington Yuck Yucks. Alex Wood, very fine comic. I've worked with all three of these people on the show. Cal Post, Laura Lee Bow, and Alex Wood, a very fine lineup of very funny comedians and comedians. And I'm dropping a little. I haven't been on stage in 4 months, and I will just go and do 7 minutes just to get back on stage.
Well, you better get ready, because I got pitched yesterday for a comedy festival, and one of the headliners, Mr. Howard Glassman.
Hey!
I'm sorry. Who did what? He did what? What?
I got a pitch.
From who?
I get pitches every day, and I got
What
a
are
pitch
pitches?
from PR people.
What are you even speaking about right now?
You are on October 27th.
Oh,
whether
yes.
you remember it or not,
I
the
do
Toronto
remember that.
Jewish Comedy Festival.
I'm there. I'm hosting.
The big name, Howard Glassman.
I'm hosting the Jewish Comedy Festival.
Wow.
What synagogue?
Funny you say that. Dude, I have two. I'll say it. I got two funny Jew shows this month.
Yeah.
I'm doing a show at a synagogue next week.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to open up with my bar mitzvah speech. The Jewish Comedy Festival is October 27 at the Regent Theater.
Yeah.
Featuring a very funny lineup, including, I think, there's a comic coming in from New York that's
he is.
headlining
I was
it.
trying to
Yeah.
get him in here.
Yeah,
but
that'd be great.
And what is it called?
It's just a bunch of Jewish comics. It's called the Jewish Comedy Festival, of which I am happy to be part of. So because I haven't been on stage since the end of June or the beginning of June.
See,
Alan Fuchs.
Yes.
That's his name.
Alan Fuchs.
Sometimes that Jew thing comes in handy, eh?
Sometimes that Jew thing comes in handy. This is why I'm not inviting you to visit me at the Purple Taco.
That's what I get pitched yesterday.
Let me see.
I get this beautiful press release for Jews on the Roof.
Listen, these people have been good to me.
Yeah.
And it's a great lineup.
Look at how big your name is.
I see that. But not only that, the other people on the show, Ben Bankus, Danny Friedman, Tamara Siobhan, Mike Cardis, and Simon Rakoff. Simon Rakoff alone is worth the price of admission. He's really funny.
Love
I've
Simon
known
Rakoff.
Simon for my whole comedy life.
Simon Rakoff is how I got what's his nuts hating
I'll tell you
me.
what, if we can't get the headliner, let's ask Simon, because Simon's never done the show.
Oh, yes, he sure has.
Oh, I remember
He
that.
is the whole reason Albert hates me.
Oh, wait a minute. Simon has done the show.
He did the show.
I just remembered
and then I heard
why.
from him for 3 months.
That's
after.
right.
Why? What happened?
It's a long story. But the short of it is, I think we should have him back.
And let's have him back. He won't remember any of it. I auditioned with him not too long ago, and he was like, he introduced himself. And I was
Listen, we're going to be authentic. And if Simon were here, I would say this in front of him. But Simon took a shine to our Amanda, and why not? Why wouldn't
okay.
you? And it's not a big deal. It's just
a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Megabone.
Purple Taco.
He kept, the story is, I'll just go for it because we're talking about it. He kept messaging me after we had booked him. And this was my first year in Humble and Fred, so it's now 5 years ago. And he kept sort of saying, come out and see my show. And I thought, well, I wasn't sure. I thought, he knows I'm married, right? I mean, it's up on Facebook. It's not hard. It says it right there. But I thought, oh, he probably thinks she's a comedy producer. I have an album, or I want this, or I figured it was maybe a business reason. But he kept sort of messaging me saying, hey, why don't you come out? I'd love to see you. Maybe we could go for a drink. There was a lot of that for like 2 months. And then it got to the point where I was like, what do? I keep getting these messages. He's a lovely man, but I keep getting these messages from him, and I'm not interested because, for starters, I'm married.
Yes.
And so we kind of talked about it on the show, and this is when Albert, who was calling in a lot for Muse and stuff, started calling in and saying that I was just a tease and I loved the attention, which is not true. I was trying to be... I wasn't, because the problem is if you say to a guy, I'm, and I've had this happen actually with show fans before, where it's like, hey, just so you know, I'm involved or whatever. You immediately get, well, you think you're so hot and you think I'd actually want you. That often is how that's treated. So it's not fun when you have to say that, and you also don't know if you have to say that. So it turned into this whole thing that I just love the attention, and I'm just such a tease, and I'm like all the girls in high school who like to lead guys on. Oh. And that's how Albert started hating me.
Wow. I'm just going to go back and listen to that whole explanation because I liked all of it.
Did you?
Yes. I really liked that.
Well.
And that's what we do here on the show. That was another thing it was hard to explain to that person I met last night. I didn't meet him, but I didn't really know him that well, and he was asking me what we do. He said, and he was one of those.
What do we do?
Well, that's what I said to him. He actually posed the question. He goes, "What was the hot story today?" And to be honest with you, I didn't know.
The hot
I
story.
said, "Well, it's pancreas and cold season. You know, that's kind of one of the themes on the show.
I'll tell
Pancreas
you,
and cold.
I love listening to the weather, though. I
Isn't
am
that
so
great?
much more informed on what the weather will be. I love it, and for me, it usually happens right on my drive-in. So I love listening to Dan Duran.
He's such a sweet man.
That's what I said to Dan this morning. I said, I just love the fact that we, whether we do the weather with Dan or not, it's just fun having him on the show. But back to this guy last night, I was sort of stuck there for a couple of seconds. I didn't know what to tell him. He wanted to know what we talked about. I said, listen to. I said, why don't you tune in tomorrow? I said, it'll be a bit more unusual than the regular radio you're used to hearing us do. Yeah. But I said, sometimes we're serious, sometimes we're silly.
A guy doors down from me just sold his house. I'm out front talking to him the other day, and it turns out he was a big Hummel and Fred fan, and I told him the show was available. He had no idea.
Wait a second. Did you not know he was a Hummel and Fred fan?
No, very casual. Like, hey, how are you type
guy.
Yeah,
one of those guys.
And then he sold his house, so we were talking about real estate on the street and that, and then it comes in. So he said, yep, tomorrow morning I'll be listening.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a lot of that out there.
Yeah.
There's people, like I said, I was at the keg a few months ago, and a friend of mine came up to me and said, I listen to you every morning. I'm like, well, I'm not there every morning, but...
I'm a car dealership,
it's not
too.
good to promote radio shows.
No, exactly. Whatever you do, tell no one you heard of us. Okay? Yeah. Yes, we're on the funny, but we are proud to be Southern Ontario's best-kept secret. This show is brought to you by some people most people have heard of, our good friends at Gig Sky.
Yes, and Gig Sky is sporting the brand new iPhone 11 with the eSIM services. The same plans available on all the latest iPhones. The World Plan, regional plans, daily plans, they're all available. They also have the World Plans available on iPads and Windows-connected devices, the Surface Pro, Acer Swift 7, and other eSIM enabled Windows devices. Okay, and coming soon for the Google Pixel eSIM customers, they will have the Gig Sky app available. So keep an eye out for that on social media. Gig Sky.
Yesterday we talked to the Sherpa. Very interesting conversation going back and discussing the world of RESPs, who they're for, why they're great for you, whether it's your kids or your grandkids. Sherpa's got all kinds of stuff like that. Tim's a portfolio manager. Raymond James, a member of the Canadian Investors Protection Fund. Tim.Niblett at raymondjames.ca. And Tim available not only for just to have, even if you're just looking for somebody to have a second look at what you're doing in your portfolio. I know Sean's going to be talking to him, Barker. Have you ever discussed stuff with the Nibs?
Yeah, I'm back and forth with the Nibs. I'm just trying to get all my financial stuff in order to get to him.
If you're like me and a lot of other people that have been in ACTRA for a long time, the ACTRA RRSP was pretty good. And I never made a lot in ACTRA, but over the course of a life, there's a bunch of money that they match and it goes into. And the odd time I'd get a gig, they match it. But what I did is I took my which you're allowed to do this, is I took it away from ACTRA for them to invest, and I had it ported over to the Nibs. And he's done very well by me.
Oh, that's great.
I'm not saying they don't do okay, but that's not, they have somebody investing it.
Yeah, I feel like I did that already. You know what? This is why I need to go meet with him, because, it's all those things that you're like, did I do that? I talked about it. Did that ever happen? That's why I definitely want to join the Nib family.
So there's we got to get there's a bunch of stuff we wanted to talk about. We talked about Trudeau yesterday. Have you heard of Mr. Trudeau?
Have I heard of him?
Have you heard of that Mr. Trudeau character talking to those kids about the blackface?
No.
Well, it's a great clip.
Well, you should play the original first.
I am.
My street's all orange, by the way. I heard you guys talk about Georgetown, and you're right. My street is orange.
Inner city is orange.
It looks like a jawbreaker, doesn't it? So orange, red, blue.
It's challenging for me, though, because our person is actually really great. She's our liberal lady that's in right now she's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just
odd that, the city of Toronto is the economic engine of the country, and yet it tends to be liberal or NDP, like the city. It's just it's bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, because they believe in community and they believe in, social services.
Parts of an engine.
A lot of us benefit from it, arguably more so than people in rural Canada.
So our Prime Minister was on a program online called the Jesse Cruikshank Show. I'd never heard of it.
She seems. Cruikshank.
Who is she?
Is that Canada? Canada?
Yeah,
former much
Canada
VJ.
Canada face. She was a VJ?
Yeah, at one point I remember this.
Yeah.
Seems very good. Like a nice, capable broadcaster.
Absolutely, yeah.
And she's got a funny little show online. Shouldn't say it that way. I don't mean it to be that. She's got a show online.
Yeah.
Where she has some kids there, and they were interviewing the Prime Minister.
Okay.
And here's how that sounded. Hang on.
And so, Laura, do you want to stand up and ask a question?
Oh, you should. And also for context, you should know the two little girls asking the question are both women of color.
Great.
Okay.
They're little girls.
I'm sorry?
Girls we call
Little girls.
They're human females.
Well, they're not women. How old are they?
Female
They're
youth.
8, 10.
Okay.
They're female youth.
I don't even think they're that old.
They're the gender that is not male
Yes.
of color.
Yes.
And so, Laura, do you want to stand up and ask a question?
Why did you paint your face brown?
Ooh.
What's that, my love?
That's great.
Yeah.
It was something I shouldn't have done because it hurt people. It's not something that you should do, and that is something that I learned. I didn't know it back then, but I know it.
That's something he learned.
Okay. So he answered the why.
And I'm sorry I hurt people.
But did you paint your nose and your hands brown?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was the wrong thing to do.
The pause is what makes it sound like a clip from The Office.
So great.
that moment when they
love
ask
it.
him, "Did you paint your nose and your hands brown?" And he was like, "Mm-hmm." And then there's this long pause.
Yeah. He on the spot. He did not expect that.
But he answered why, which is good because I was like,
Right.
is he not answering? Yeah, we know it hurts people, but he because I didn't know it then.
You can just tell with him it takes a little longer to formulate a thought because he ain't that bright. But anyway.
So we have. I asked Phil on the show yesterday. I said, "Phil, we really need those it's just so funny and ooh, like he's been mentally punched in the stomach. Ooh, that one hurt.
Yeah.
That one stung from two young humans.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
So Phil did a great job, but then Phil, because he's very musical.
Phil, that was your work.
That was Phil.
Oh my God.
And then Phil, because he's so musical, took that and he's put it to music. Is there something we should know about the music?
Yeah, nothing really.
Break it
down.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
What you should do is just in the middle of it, just drop one of the girls. Did you paint your nose brown
Yeah,
too?
yeah,
Ooh,
mash it in.
Ooh, yep. Just
Smash
splice
it
that
in.
back in.
I'll do that. I'll
Like
slap her.
Antoine Dobson.
Yeah, great job, Phil.
Yeah.
Great job, Philly.
Troll.
Speaking of Phil Hong, he's got two things going on in his life right now. I mean, this is aside from getting his wife and getting married and bringing her to Canada. Phil has got a problem with his brakes. We've been hearing Fred. We've been hearing nonstop about his brakes, and we think only days away from getting Phil to a dentist for the first time.
Oh my God, really?
Since
Did
the
your mom
early
talk to him?
2000s.
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk to her, but ironically yesterday my tire decided to break, and so I went to the dealership for that, and I couldn't catch her in time.
Ironic,
but I
because
will be
tires
speaking
and
to her.
teeth.
Because getting your tire fixed and making a call to the dentist, you can't do that in the same day.
Freddie, that's too many things.
Well, I was
too
busy.
many things in a day.
You know what, guys? You want me to be honest? I was talking to my dad weeping, in fact.
About what?
Because I just had Amanda, last week I had an interval repair for my car. It's a 5-year-old car now because time passages.
It does, yes.
And it was it's a $590-something bill.
Got it.
So here I am. I'm going to have to think about my checking account.
Yep.
And then yesterday, actually, they were telling me I have to replace my brakes. That's another few $100s.
Okay.
And so I found my dad's mechanic who's going to do that. But also, when that tire had trouble yesterday, I had to replace that one tire for a Korean car. It's $250. And so in that 3-hour period of waiting for the tire to arrive, I was talking to my dad, weeping a bit because I'm just like, in the course of a week, I'm spending almost $1,000 on a car. And so I'm just like, what is
That's
wrong
car
with
ownership,
hang
though.
on.
Is karma coming up to me? Is something wrong?
But how is this affecting you not going to the dentist?
Because now it's financially
But you are on
We
the
have
Chambers
coverage.
plan.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But remember, you can only be covered to a point. That's how an insurance plan goes. Yes.
80%.
That's what I told him. So if it was a $2,000 bill, which it probably won't be,
Yeah.
that would be $200. And my question would be, did you say you were in the waiting room yesterday during the tire thing?
Yeah.
You could have called the dentist.
But the
The
thing
dentist is away and in Vietnam. This is
No. See, the thing is, when he says it's ironic, it's only ironic because tires and teeth both begin with the letter
this
T.
is the price
Phil,
of
if
talking
that-
about your personal life on air.
Phil,
But
if you will. Phil?
That's when he's going to go to the dentist.
But the year was 2003 when a young Phil Hong last visited a dentist. What was happening in the year 2003, you ask? The final Concorde flight happened in 2003, Phil. Ronaldo's Manchester United debut for all of you Ronaldo fans. The Space Shuttle Columbia disaster, February 1st, 2003.
Wow.
The World Human Genome Project got underway in 2003.
It was 2004, first of all.
Oh, hang on a second.
Okay, now let's find facts from 2004.
What?
You know, I worry about lots of things.
I was in my 20s. I worked in marketing.
Are you a mascot in 2004?
Yes, I was.
Amanda Barker was parading onto the Blue Jays field, handing out joy to all the people in the stands.
Yeah.
Phil, you seem quite forlorn. Here's the thing, buddy. Your car's 5 years old now, and, cars need maintenance from time to time.
But the thing is,
you can't just drive them forever without having to spend money on them.
This is why I really dislike talking about these parts of my life, because
you guys make tire parts or the teeth part.
You guys make it so simplistic. It's not even funny. My parents are retiring. I'm thinking about my wife. I have to send many thousands of dollars a week to make sure I meet the account, and then I have this trouble happening. And I'm not saying, oh, I don't want to see the dentist. I'm saying, I'm putting it on the agenda. Please give me time.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
Uchi, I've gone to Uchi so many times, and so many times he'll be like, don't charge her. Don't charge her. Now, I'm not saying he does this for everybody.
Yeah, not for a 16-year-old mouth,
Yeah.
Who knows what Uchi's going to find in there?
I've also spent money there, let's be honest.
Hey.
But my point is, there is always a way, and your mouth health is one of your greatest health investments.
Absolutely.
And if you don't take care of your mouth, then your breath can smell, and that is a problem for your work, and that affects everything.
Absolutely.
So it's important.
This is why I'm discovering this right now. As I said, I had a doctor's checkup last week. They're telling me to start watching my sugar, and I ordered a diabetic kit just to make sure. I'm going to test myself in the next few weeks. Well, it was free.
Oh.
But my point is,
I'll tell you,
there are things that are happening in my personal life right now that
I get it.
That
We all have
it's
it.
just bringing me down. That's
I
all.
get it.
What's bringing you down?
Yeah, just the weight of just about things in my life are worrying me. That's all.
Adulting sucks, dude.
Welcome
It
to
does.
life.
Yeah, it's hard.
Why not send a little less over to, Cambodia and look after your teeth?
Look, I can...
Or get your teeth done in Cambodia.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've got some stuff upstairs. Let me take a crack at it. Let me just...
What you got? What you got?
I was going to say, our chamber plan thing covers 80%.
Yes.
I was just about to say, although it should be a financial meeting with Howard and I was just saying, that initial visit, Humble and I will cover the 20%.
I was just going to say that. Dude, I was literally just going to say...
What's wrong with that, Phil?
Fred, hold on, Phil.
What?
Literally, I was just going to say, you know what, to get you started...
Yes.
The first cleaning is going to be a cleaning. I just had a cleaning and a checkup. No X-rays. I think it was a couple $100. It's usually more like $140 or something like that. But it was a little extra. We'll take care of it until you get the money back. I'm happy to do it.
No, it's fine. I'm going to find the money and I'm going to do it.
How about this?
But
Fred and I will buy you tires.
No, we won't.
But the
Fred and I will not buy you tires.
That over the past few months,
You know a guy?
it has been a constant humiliation in my life, and I know I have to improve.
What is?
I know I have to get to the dentist.
Yes.
But the fact that we're mentioning it over and over and over again,
this is the first time we've
it's an
mentioned it in
emotional
a
toll
while.
in my life.
So
That's
it's
all.
starting to bother you.
Okay.
It is bothering me beyond wonder because of all the combined things that are happening at the same time.
No, I understand.
Not you guys, just the fact that now
There's
the
a lot
country
going
knows.
on in Phil's life.
How about this? Go see Uchi. Don't go to this guy the family. Go to Uchi.
Uch is amazing.
I'm going to someone. I'm going to walk somewhere. That's what I'm gonna do.
You're going to walk somewhere.
He's going to walk to the
like
dentist.
to a dentist.
Oh, all right.
Well,
Okay.
you just fixed your car. Drive.
How about this? We don't mention it again for a full month. I put it on the calendar, and you got a month. And in the calendar, it's going to say dentist. We talked about Phil. We got a whole half hour about the
Great
dentist.
idea. I don't think I can go a month.
Neither can I.
Okay, well.
We need the content.
We won't talk about it again until the next time we do. Phil, honestly, Fred and I would be happy to take care of the initial appointment cost.
Definitely.
As I told you earlier this morning, we think of you as one of our family. You're like a son to us. And we had the same conversation, Amanda. I said, listen, you start to not take care of your teeth, you're going to have all kinds of problems. And it's only because we want the best for you. That's all. Okay? All right.
Okay.
All right.
Sing us a song.
This is Humble and Fred.
Now everyone's all bummed out. All right. Well, listen, we'll take a break. The sun is shining in southern Ontario, and we're happy to have you along with us. I just wonder what people, just the average person, someone just turned this on for the first time, like,
what is that?
What is that show? Why are they making that poor man feel bad about his teeth and his tires? And what's Megabone? And how do I get some of that? It's Humble and Fred Radio at humbleandfredradio.com.
Same as it ever was. Yes, same as it ever was. Same as it ever was.
And then we had the global financial crisis where they decided to drop the insurance, and then they decided to pick it up at a different rate. And then my parents were starting to be going, what are we going to do?
I've had insurance for years, dude.
Like at one point, my parents were employed for 3 days a week. They're back to 7. Like this is, my dad just retired from 7 days a week at work, and so he thought, well, my family should be taken care of. And so they had those sorts of problems. And I was going, should I talk about my teeth now?
But it's your health.
I know, it is. But you understand what I mean, though.
I get that it's not easy, and I get it's one of those things that falls. Believe me, I get that it's one of those things that falls by the wayside. And I say this because I have very much problem teeth, very much problem teeth. The amount of work I have to do on my teeth, I'm just one of those people that doesn't get a free pass.
It's just the thing is, I don't want to talk to a public audience about the 16
Hi, sweetie.
stuff that I have to go through.
Good, my love. Just in the middle of the show. What's going on?
Relate to it. You're being authentic.
Not at all. No, I just didn't know if you knew I still had a job. No, I'm just kidding. What's up, honey?
It was my mistake.
Yeah, so it ends at 9-ish, not 7 to 9:15-ish.
And I will. And I'm going to force myself.
But here's my thing. You have a problem talking about that, but you don't have a problem talking about going down in women?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at least there's
I can't speak. I'm already.
At least it doesn't paint you totally negatively as a person. It's
How's
sort of like
the?
Sean
I
Miller
apologize.
smoking,
How's
right?
the other
It's
thing going for you?
I'm doing my best, right? You try your best.
I get it. It's a
Are
little
you
too
up to a few a day now?
close to the bone. I get it.
All right. Well, I'm going to see you on Sunday. No judgment, just love. I've got a little present for you. It's a stupid little. It's what?
I just realized over the past 2 weeks I've handled 5
That's right. That's funny. No, just something I saw in New York.
That needs this.
Little silly thing. It's stupid. But I think you'll like it.
So not that I don't want to go. It's just like,
Okay, man. I'm sorry. I love you.
Cleaning is probably going to cost
Good luck.
after 80%. It's
Yeah.
going to cost about $20.
See, the thing is, even if it did cost me $20, I want to make sure I have the $20 first, right?
Yeah, but can I just step in here? Like honestly, we're happy to pay it.
It's okay. It's okay.
But we'll get it back.
I appreciate your feelings for sure. I appreciate your.
But understand, it's not because we're being dicks.
No,
it sounds to you like we are, but we're not. We care for you, Phil.
Whether or not it doesn't sound like it, my brain is basically processing all this new information.
I know,
and it's just
but
like,
you can't. Here's what I would say to you. You can't. Here's what causes most stress in people's lives because they connect the dots. They're not all connected.
No.
And it's funny because I read something recently about you can really only focus on 3 things at one time.
Oh my God, I've said that for years. Where did you read this? Because I've said that for years.
The human being, because if you start to focus on more than 3 things, it just becomes overwhelming. So you've got your tires, you've got your the commitment in Cambodia, you've got your teeth, you've got your job, you've got
diabetes.
Okay, but they're not all connected. You can only connect 3 at a time.
Yeah.
So try not to overload yourself.
Which is why it just acutely happened this week. That's all. I'm trying to process each priority.
So maybe we picked the wrong week to continue this.
But I want you to know, like I know you've got your guy, but we have a guy that has been dealing with her teeth and our show for years.
Sure.
He will be so caring and so good with your mouth that
I've been to probably 10 dentists in my life because I had such a problem mouth between New Brunswick, Korea, Monaco, the ship here. I've been through so many dentists. I'm telling you, Uchi is the best.
And I would think just from a comfort level, you might, because you know him and you know what, and he might be somebody that would help you walk you through the process.
You know what I love about him?
Admire the adventure.
You know what I love about him? He's a nerd. He gets excited and interested in anybody's problems. He wants to figure out what's the best solution. How do I fix it? He doesn't see it as, oh, you haven't flossed, or oh, you haven't come here in however many years. He never sees it like that. He texted me 2 nights ago to see how I had a crown put in. And he was like, I just want to know, it's been a few months, so how's it feeling? Like, that's who he is. And he genuinely
is interested. He's just interested. He's fascinated by it. And he's like, oh, great, let's look at it. Let's dive in there. 15 years, 18 years, whatever it's been, that's exciting, you know? That's something out of my norm, so that's exciting. That's how he approaches things. He's curious and he's interested.
Again, you do what you want, Philly. I'm just saying we'd be happy to arrange that too. And Uchi.
We're coming back.
Yep. And Uchi would delay any kind of payment if we need it.
He'll work with you.
No,
he
no,
really will.
I
don't want to oversell.
Totally against my principles to do that. I don't owe anyone anything.
But I hear you. I get the ego bit.
Okay.
Oh, no, not ego.
We're moving on now.
Pride is ego.
Except for this song.
Pride is ego. Which is fine. It's healthy.
How did you get it so fast?
When I was younger, just a bad little kid, my mama noticed funny things I did, like shooting puppies with a BB gun. I'd poison guppies, and when I was done, I'd find a pussycat, bashed its head. That's when my mama said,
What did she say?
she said, my boy, I think someday you'll find a way to make your natural tendencies pay. You'll be a dentist. You have a talent for causing things. Hey, so be a dentist.
And welcome back. It's Humble and Fred Radio. The sun is shining on Ontario because this is the place it's the center of the universe, and it's the greatest place to live, and we're better than everybody, and that's what we think. Southern Ontario
Sounds good to me.
Is where God's light shines brightest. That's right. Hey, the sign's not on at night. I came in last night. It was dark. The sign didn't come on.
Oh, you know why? Because I've got to reset it. I had it set for 8 o'clock when the sun used to set at 9, right? Oh, I got to readjust that. What a drag.
There's a lot of things to love about where we live. Hamilton, Toronto, Burlington, Oakville. You know, all the nice places that Jesus loves. But Toronto, according to Sean, officially has the worst commute in all of North America. We'll tell you about that in a second. But first, hi, who's this?
Hi, good morning. My name is Ajit.
Hey, Ajit.
You guys are my go-to radio station every morning for my daily commute. It's like funny. I find it in information as well. I was listening to your clip about Justin Trudeau and everything, right? And election time is coming up. Just wanted to know your opinion. When we had Stephen Harper a few years ago, people were upset about conservatives. Liberals came, people are upset about liberals. What are your thoughts on giving chance to a completely new party, no conservatives, no liberals, go NDP or Greens? Just my thoughts, and wanted to know your opinion about it.
Are you asking what's our opinion about a new party, not that a creation of a new party?
No.
No, go NDP or Green.
Oh, yes.
No liberals, maybe NDP or liberal.
And by the way, I apologize, Ajit, because I had planned to, every time somebody says Trudeau, I had planned to play this noise.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh. I know. That was really funny. That's what I said, right? We were upset about conservatives.
Hey, Ajit,
I don't know if they're going to bring anything to you.
Can I ask you a question? And I don't think anyone answered it since I asked an hour ago. If you're a Sikh, can you take your turban off? And what does that mean to your observation religiously? And you may not be Sikh, but I'm just curious if you know the answer.
I am a Sikh. Turban is my identity. This is what make me a Sikh. That's my symbol. And taking it off is not an option. If to fit in culturally or looking a minority, I'm perfectly okay with that. But this is who I am, and it's gonna be with me.
Because I saw the picture of Jagmeet Singh, without his turban, and
that's a different thing. So I do take off my turban when I reach home, and I tie a smaller turban. But forcing me to take my turban off and pointing out that because of that turban you do not fit here, that is wrong.
No, absolutely.
No, we know that. No, I think the question is, if you're a Sikh man, must you wear a turban? Or is there Sikh men out there without turbans, just choose not to wear them? And if they do, I think that's the question.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, because in my religion, in Judaism, there are people that are very observant. They wear a kippah all the time. They wear, the very super Jews are the Hasidim, and they wear those hats all the time. But I don't observe that. That's not where I'm at, so I don't. So I think between Fred's question and mine, is it possible to be a Sikh, A, and not wear a turban? And if you have a turban and you decide not to wear it anymore, are you still able to be, is there a degree of observation that you're still allowed?
It is. It's your inner belief. You can be a Sikh without a turban.
Okay.
Or you cannot be a Sikh but still wear a turban. Like, it's about your values. That's what my opinion is. Right? Not pointing out that there are people who probably not gonna agree with me, but my belief, you can be a Sikh. You can be a Sikh value follower, but not wear a turban.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as your other question, we were talking about that this morning, where Jagmeet Singh has actually gone up as far as who do you prefer as a leader. He has gone up in the polls, but the party, the NDP, has actually dropped over the past month.
Exactly.
No, but it's funny, the mindset of this country, because as much as you think they're gaining momentum, still roughly 70% of the country is still stuck on Liberals and Conservatives, and the NDP is a distant third, and the Green Party's not even in the race. So to imagine them coming into, I mean, it's not even really conceivable. So which maybe is a bad thing. I don't know.
That's the problem overall. What I am seeing, I've been in this country for almost 16 years now. This is what I find very problematic, that why only two options, right? Get out of your comfort zone of going liberal or conservatives. We were whining about Kathleen Wynne, and now we are whining about Doug Ford, all right? They both are same. It's just, just the same coin. You just flip it. It's either head or tail.
I agree. And you know what, there are subtle differences, and I don't want to get into it again, but there are subtle differences in how parties intend to rule. But once you get in, you find yourself, there's only a small margin of what you can actually do. Now, provincially, you may not know this, but provincially, we've elected NDP governments before. In fact, I come from the province that elected the first NDP government. It's just not nationally enough momentum. Part of it is because of the way Quebec votes, and part of it is because of how Ontario runs the country. And I listen. It was a strange thing. Saskatchewan went NDP, but Alberta and BC are not ever going to vote for an NDP federal government.
And whenever I look at an NDP government and their platform, I go, "Where is this money going to come from?" It just it doesn't add up to me.
But we appreciate you calling. Don't forget to to make sure you support all our sponsors, and our newest sponsor, Purple Taco Retirement Homes, which is very exciting. And don't forget to pick up a complimentary package of Megabone. Listen to it, Chief.
No.
Look at you.
Hey, buddy, thanks for calling.
And call us again anytime.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
And thanks for listening. There you go. There's a G.
Nice.
That was a very lovely conversation.
And a good question. A valid question.
The number of this is interesting. They did a survey, and it turns out that we have the worst commute in all of North America, including Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Detroit, all of it.
Really?
All of it.
But sometimes that what is it we get on KTLA? Is it?
Yep.
The Los Angeles. Sometimes I put their news on, and I'll tell you, their roads look a lot worse than ours.
Those
but
freeways.
Well,
man.
something.
The problem in LA is the 405 is kind of like our 401.
Yeah.
And then there's the 101, which is the Pacific. Well, the 101 is the California highway.
Isn't that A1A or something?
A1A.
Yeah.
But through Los Angeles, it's the 101.
Okay.
So there's the 405 and the 101, and they're like it's kind of like the 401 across the top. It's always busy.
Right.
But in terms of, I guess these are the criteria they're using in terms of commute times, average hours. Torontonians, 350 hours commuting every year, which is actually more than any other city in the world.
That's unbelievable.
So it's commute times. You know, that stretch from the 427 to the DVP across the top of Toronto is said to be the busiest highway in North America.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
I see. I'm just so shocked by that. I have one of my best friends lives in LA, and I talk to her pretty much every single day on the Voxer app. So we will Voxer back and forth like a WhatsApp. We will Voxer back and forth every single day, and it's all because of our commute. So that's, you know, once you guys are off air, that's what I listen to, or that's what I'm doing in the car, because usually I'm about an hour in my car every day. If I'm here, certainly I am. Or more than that, probably 2 hours in my car. And it's interesting to me because it always sounds like she'll say, oh, you know, it's 2 miles away, but I'm going to be in the car for the next hour and a half, so let me know if you're around, kind of thing. And what's funny is she always hears my blinker, as I tend to drive through the city a lot more than I will take the DVP or the Gardner. And so she'll always laugh because she'll like, there's the Barker blinker, because to her, I'm on the freeway. So she doesn't understand, why am I just driving with my blinker on? But for me, it's because I'm turning onto Bathurst and then I'm turning onto Front.
Well, it came down to, I think it comes down, I'm just looking at the article now, but a lot of it is, you know, they said that the costs of transit in Toronto have increased at twice the rate of inflation.
Oh, wow.
But we were talking, Freddie and I, earlier in the week about, you know, he just got back from the UK and I was in New York, that public transit in those other big cities, even the international cities like Tokyo, Singapore, Hong Kong. But, you know, in New York, you know, Charlie works in Midtown, well, not quite Midtown, but 30th and Madison Avenue. And she lives just across the East River into Brooklyn. It takes her 18 minutes on that subway. It's pretty short, very short commute time. So in the New York area, they have the FDR that goes around the island of Manhattan. But that big commute that we have, they just train it in. Everyone is training in.
Yeah. Yes. They're not driving.
No one's driving.
Where a lot more of us are driving.
Way more of us are driving.
I live downtown with a car.
Yeah.
And I've taken the transit. I take the transit on occasion because Marco and I share a car. But like I was on it a lot this week. But
that's all Rachel uses. Rachel doesn't have a car. She just transits everywhere. The only carring she does is when we're driving in another city. You know?
I cannot do Toronto without a car.
But that's it, Freddie. And in London, it's the same thing. And in those big cities, people aren't commuting in their cars. They're training in from everywhere.
You know, there's a balancing thing here, because I was surprised in London. It's pretty expensive transit.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's horribly convenient, or terribly, or whatever the word is, convenient. So that balancing act, people go, yeah, it's a little expensive, but the convenience of it, because it is so well done, I'm going to do it. Here in Toronto, it's expensive and inconvenient. And they wonder why people aren't getting out of their cars.
That's true.
You know, I mean, we just have so few lines, and they're just overcrowded in the morning, and there's not enough service, and on and on and on.
And you know, we have the Go service. Excuse me, the Go service. And what's the one in Brampton? Zoom.
Yes.
There's Viva.
That's local.
That's local. But so it's there. Go trains and Go buses, but it's not the culture the same way it is, I think, in other big cities. Now, L.A. I was surprised because I would have assumed L.A. was worse than this. But I guess in terms of volume,
because they don't have their transit.
They don't have transit.
Awful.
Their transit is
almost non-existent. I mean, the thing for us is it depends on where you are.
Yes.
If you work at Yonge and Bloor and you live in, I don't know, Burlington, you know, that's a very easy commute. But you have to be in those places. But if you involve a bus or a streetcar, forget it.
So you're in Burlington. You've got to go station. You go bus. You go train to Union Station, and then you get on the Yonge line.
Yeah, and you go up.
So great. But if you're not, you know, where Randy, my ex-wife, lives, she lives up at St. Clair and up there.
Like St. Clair and Runnymede almost.
Yeah, but it's in order to get. So there's the St. Clair line, but it's hard to get down here.
No, that's not. And I used to live very.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I lived very close to where she is, and that is not an easy.
It's an inconvenient place to live because it's not quite.
You're backpacking.
You're busing all the time. Yeah.
You know, the city of Toronto used to be a lot of manufacturing. There's not so much anymore. It's all high tech. Everybody's connected. Why aren't we trying through taxes incentives to corporations or big companies, medium size companies or small get people out of the city?
Yeah.
So if they're building another office tower in Toronto, why don't they identify who's moving in and say, listen, here are tax incentives if you locate in Barrie or Kitchener or Peterborough or
But
because you're connected. Like, why do you have to be in the city now?
We make the idea of owning a car, we make the idea of commuting by car just much easier than in other cities, because London's a great example of this. You'll never see as much traffic in London, for example, because when you drive a car there, you're immediately dinged 25 pounds for being there.
We had a Lyft driver on one of the nights on the weekend to go to the restaurant, and I was sitting up front because the kids and Rachel were in the back. And I asked him, how's driving? He lives in Queens. And he said this to me. He said, I only drive in the city when I'm working. He said, I would never.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He lives in Queens, so this is outside of Brooklyn. And Queens is where LaGuardia is.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, when I'm not doing this for a living, he says, I never take my car anywhere. He said, first of all, it's impossible to park.
Yeah, it's like $40.
And he said, you never know. He says, I've had a couple. And this guy is a professional driver, was a cab driver.
Yeah.
Check this out, Freddie. You know what the cab licenses in New York City used to go for? $1 million.
Oh, my God.
To get a license. And this is what this guy used to do. At the beginning of every week, had to give his cab company $1,000. Before every week starts, he has to give them $1,000, and then he gets the car for 7 days. He has to drive 12 hours a day just to break even. Just to break even.
Like
so that's why he went to
stripper,
Lyft. And now they've lowered those taxi licenses to around 600,000.
Wow.
But
even so, that's 600,000 more than the Uber or Lyft have to pay.
That's it.
But he said that. He said, I live in Queens, and when we go home, I park my car. I never take it anywhere.
Yeah.
But, more progressive thinking when it comes to running a business. Do I really want my employee to arrive at the work frazzled because of what they've just been through for an hour and a half or an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Or going home and spending less time with their family and under more pressure? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I think Vaughan, now that the subway goes to Vaughan, you're going to see a lot more people living in Vaughan. There already is. There's so many condos.
Well, you should be working there.
And we have worse traffic in Vaughan because everyone's going to Vaughan to park there to take subways.
Easy now, Vaughan, okay? Easy now there, Phil. Okay, see, very passionate. Slow down, son.
Some are. It's starting to happen.
Does your dentist have parking?
Hey, come on.
Sorry.
No, walk away.
I know. Let's talk a little bit about our friends at 5 Hour Energy.
Hey, take a 5 Hour energy shot. Take it in seconds. You can feel it in minutes. It lasts for hours. And I'll tell you, a multitude of delicious flavors like pink lemonade, pomegranate, grape, berry, orange, citrus, and lime. 5 Hour Energy gives you the boost you need to make it through a busy day.
And, of course, our good friends at Strain Print, Phil, strainprint.ca. Actually, I'm going to talk about this. Because of Strain Print, where did I put that Hello MD thing?
Should be in here somewhere.
Oh, here we go. No, that's relevant. Anyway, we all know what Strain Print's up to. They're helping connect users. They're making the cannabis experience better by connecting users with their symptoms. There's hundreds of thousands now, data points of information, whether you're suffering from, kind of arthritic condition, whether it's insomnia. Of course, you go to Strain Print and find out what others are using for those conditions. And starting on Monday, we're going to hear about a new company called Hello MD. Talking to your doctor about medical cannabis can be difficult. Sometimes they don't feel comfortable authorizing patients. In fact, some doctors won't even discuss it, as they don't feel there's currently enough research. But there are over 340,000 medical cannabis patients in this country. And if you think medical cannabis could be right for you should talk to a trained cannabis healthcare practitioner. Hello MD is a virtual consultation service. We're going to be hearing all about it. It's fascinating. It'll give you a chance to speak to somebody who can maybe take you. You can go on Strain Print and find out what strains others are using, but Hello MD will connect you with a virtual consultant, and you can talk to them directly about your condition.
That's amazing.
It is. It's going to be fantastic. There's all kinds of places. How about this? Go to hellomd.com/learn or hellomd.com. So there you go. Very exciting. Thanks to Strain Print for putting that together for us. Sean, we're going to do a quick podcast extra. So what story can we look forward to exploring with you?
Tesla cars.
Oh, no. You want to do Tesla or... What microphone? Is that 6?
Should be 5.
Is that 5? Are they labeled? There's a great idea.
We should probably put labels on.
We did have
things.
labels.
Well, let's put some labels on.
It's
I like
up
the
to you,
story.
'cause
Can
there's
you
a
do
big
the story
gaming
about the big pig?
Okay, we
I
can
like
do
the
that one
big
too.
pig. But you want to do? Oh, Tesla's a good story too. Sean's got a story coming up at humbleandfredradio.com that Tesla is going to use some new noises as a honk sound. They're
What?
revolutionizing the honk sound.
Oh my
bars.
God, this is exciting.
Exciting news.
Really?
Yes.
It's about time.
In our last couple of minutes on Funny, we're live. We're live again on Tuesday. Monday's a holiday. Phil is hosting the best of Humble and Fred.
I was thinking Stephen Pearl for Thanksgiving because he's got time. He's not celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving.
What's that mean?
Because he's American.
Oh, okay. He's an American comedian.
It's a cute bit.
Is it? All right. Well,
He's celebrating Columbus.
And then,
So-
oh yes, absolutely.
So Stephen Pearl, a comedian we had on, will be featured, and some other great stuff. 7 a.m. tomorrow, 7 a.m. on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a new episode of Swing Thoughts will be up for you golf fans. And what am I doing? I'm doing 2 Thanksgiving Saturday night. Rachel, as I'm having dinner with her and her parents for Thanksgiving.
Isn't that sweet? In Stratford?
No, here in the big the T dot. And then Sunday, I'm going to ex-wife Randy's Thanksgiving with my kids.
That's
Charlie's
fun.
in town?
Charlie's doing her week in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, or as
Starting
of this
tomorrow.
weekend? Okay.
She should be here tomorrow.
Right. Nice.
What about you?
We're probably going to go up to the cottage. That's why I was listening to Dan Duran's weather.
Cottage country
Yeah,
weather?
yeah. I think we're going to go up to the cottage. And
Do you keep it open all winter?
No, we don't. Well, one of them we did last year. We have 2, so.
I'm sorry, you have what?
We have 2 cottages.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
No, am I-
compound. We have a compound.
Is that right? What
Yeah.
would you maybe rent to a buddy for?
We don't rent, but you're
For a
welcome
week?
to come up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not renters. Believe me, I would. But yeah, no. So we're gonna go up there, I think, and do a big potluck kind of thing. All the cousins. Yeah, it's
Sweet.
gonna be fun.
And are you doing your traditional trailer
that's
people?
Over. That's
over,
old
is
news,
it?
Yeah. No, I think I'm going to my daughter's on Sunday, and my in-laws on Monday, and then next weekend hosting Thanksgiving with my son and my daughter.
That's nice.
Yeah, because my son's away this week.
Where is he?
He has a new girlfriend, it seems, and he's going to her place in Ottawa.
Oh.
To meet the family,
that
apparently.
feels serious.
To give thanks.
Yeah.
Yes. Ooh.
Who knows? We'll
Phil,
see.
will you be able to take time away from your many stresses and conundrums to enjoy a Thanksgiving, or is it not celebrated?
Well, we don't have a general Thanksgiving tradition, but Liz and I are going to prepare a diabetic-friendly Thanksgiving because she's diabetic and I'm watching my blood sugar.
Excellent.
Ooh.
Yep.
Well, that
so
sounds
no
good.
stuffing.
Turkey
no.
is good.
Yeah.
For that.
No
Nice.
starch.
Georgetown Sean, quickly, will you have a box of beer and some hot rods from the 7-Eleven?
Yeah.
What is tradition in?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
You know what he does? He stuffs the turkey with smokes.
He's gonna smoke it.
So it's Georgetown Thanksgiving. So first, everyone gets a scratch and win.
Oh yeah,
Couple beer, gets some
Bring
scratches.
your Tim's with you. We don't
That's
have
right.
Money for everybody.
So are you gonna have? Is mom preparing? Do you have it at the
Of course.
girlfriend's?
No. My mom's a really good cook, so she usually makes a huge family dinner for all of us and my dad's brothers and sisters, and huge family thing. So we'll see.
And it'll be great because then after dinner, everyone fights. That's awesome.
Goes out for a dart.
Everyone darts it up.
That's amazing.
All right, listen, you got to go to humbleandfredradio.com to hear about the giant hogs, okay? It's going to be fascinating. And Tesla with a new noise. I'll give you a hint. It's perfect for this show.
This episode of Humble and Fred Radio is brought to you by FYI Music News, The Retirement Sherpa, Gig Sky, The Chambers Plan, Strain Print, Freedom Construction, Ringside MD, Clear Air Solutions, 5 Hour Energy, and our newest sponsor, CDN Technologies. We broadcast to the world from the Humble and Fred worldwide headquarters. More Humble and Fred tomorrow and online at humbleandfredradio.com.
Button now that fires the commercials at the radio station.
That's
yeah,
exciting.
like we used to have this kid, Kyle.
Right.
Other
Sweet
Kyle.
kid.
Great kid.
Great kid.
By the way, speaking of Kyles, you know that Hershorn had a baby?
Yeah.
You're kidding
Did
me.
you know that?
Yeah,
oh
I
my
knew he was
God.
pregnant.
Why didn't
Did
you
you know
post
that?
it? Oh.
Which one was Kyle Hirschhorn?
The guy at Sirius.
The board op at Sirius
He
XM
was
used to be our
our-
intern.
He was our intern. We got him the
okay.
job at Sirius.
Oh, right. That's Kyle Hirschhorn, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Kyle,
yes.
yeah.
I'm sorry. There's
So he'll be
certain.
delighted to know that.
No, but I had to
know, it's
place
too
the
many.
name in the face.
Well, because he was a face, and then for many years after was a name.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
right.
Where we would, Yeah.
So I knew he was going to have a baby, but I saw it on Instagram.
Oh, he did have a baby.
Yes.
What did he have?
Some critter. I have no idea.
Oh, you don't know if
Like
it's
a human. And a baby human.
Don't know the name, the weight.
I don't know anything about it.
Announcing Dakota Grace,
Dakota.
8 pounds.
See, I was
12
asking,
ounces.
I was asking Spencer. Thank you, by the way. I'm going to add that to my list of hipster names.
Dakota's up
Dakota, Evan is another one you hear a lot of.
Names that hipsters have, or names that people name their babies.
Or hipster names that hipsters name their babies.
I'm going to say the world doesn't need another Olivia. It doesn't need another Sophia. I'm sorry if people
Sophia,
hate me.
Olivia, and Dakota. What about a boy's name? Isn't it
Liam,
Evan?
Aiden,
Liam?
Ethan. That was all about 5 years ago. I follow baby names.
What's that, Sean?
Jax with an X.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
You see that all
I've
the
got to
time
get all
now.
this down.
I know some Jet,
Wait a second.
J-E-T-T.
So Jax with an X.
Jax with an X,
Really?
right?
Yeah, he's right.
Liam. What was the other boy name? Aiden. Thank you. I just needed a couple.
Ethan.
And then girls are
Ethan,
Olivia.
We don't need another Olivia.
Sophia.
folks. Sophia, huge. Yeah.
Dakota.
Madison was about 15 years ago,
Yeah.
but that keeps coming.
That's
in
all I
here.
need.
Yeah, okay.
Because I've been trying to work. I'm working on this joke about how no one will ever. I've told you. You've heard me sort of say that no one has named their child Howard since the 1960s.
I'll tell you, it's coming.
It's not. Howard's
coming.
not making a comeback.
My friends just named their boy Harry, and then the other ones named their boy Arthur.
Well, Harry's
Harry's
not Howard.
different. Letterman's kid is named Harry.
Same with Fred. When's the last time you heard anyone name their kid
Everybody is naming their kid Fred.
No, they're not.
Oh,
But
please.
No, you and I both have those type of names. I think Howard and Fred are big middle names because it's like to pay tribute to somebody,
who died a long time ago,
or
like Howard and Fred.
or like a father or whatever, but not the primary name.
I think you're going to see a lot of Howies. I do.
But Harry is different. Because here's the thing. Well, because Harry, in the middle American culture, is not short for Harold. It's just like Harry. You know what I mean? Like.
All right.
Whereas in my world, the Hebrews, Harold is a common Jewish name.
Okay.
So in fact, Harold and Howard share the
Esther and
share the same secret Hebrew name.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Oh.
Herschel.
Herschel. That's a great name.
Yeah,
Herschel's a great
I have a
name.
very Jewish middle name.
Which is?
My grandpa was Jewish. My middle name's Abram.
Yeah.
Abram.
I like it.
Yeah.
Abram's a cool name.
Abe. Yeah. Sergeant.
I had a uncle Abe Love. My mother's sister married Abe Love, and that family was known as the Loves. Can you imagine?
That's nice.
It is.
Is Love a Jewish name?
I don't. Well, I guess maybe it's short. I guarantee it's short. It was shortened when they came here from Eastern Europe. I promise it was something like Lovovich or something.
In Italy, the Jews took colors for last names. Yeah, I don't know when that happened, but I know it happened. So if you I'm just trying to think of an Italian Jewish last name, and I can't think of one. But anyway, all the colors, like Rossi, for example, red is a Jewish name. I don't know why that happened. I just know that Marco explained it to
Let's talk about Teslas and noises.
Yes, Tesla is going to be coming out with new sounds on their cars for horn sounds, customized horn sounds, and movement sounds, which is pretty hilarious. Elon Musk announced this in a tweet that they are working on it already. But what's coming is farting. I can't even hear what I'm saying. It's probably amazing.
Phil, give Sean some headphones.
Oh, yeah, this is perfect. Yeah. Right up the alley. Yeah, farting sounds are coming. We're going to have screaming goats on the horn. And other funny things. This is quite the soundtrack. I'm impressed.
I just thought you'd enjoy it,
Theme
Sean,
music.
just to give you some theme.
Yep. You know.
So are they really going to do
That
this?
sounded
So you're going to honk a Tesla, and a fart's going to come out.
They have farts. They'll have goat bleats. And what they're adding for the movement could be rushing wind sounds. So you could be driving really, really slow.
All right.
Just sounds fast.
A
Or
Tesla.
coconut horse claps from Monty Python.
Oh, no way.
That's coming. So as the car's driving past you,
You'll hear a horse clip clopping.
Oh,
I'd
my
love that.
God. That's
Yeah.
funny.
We have people coming in here today.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have.
Okay. Let's
yeah.
get out because I got to get out of here. He's got to go. I'm going.
All right.
Do you want? We'll leave the giant hog story another time.
That's okay. Yeah, I can save that one.
All right.
And I do have my
Is that-
show
you got
tomorrow
a
if
story?
anybody's on Twitch watching.
You got a story about Dan Duran?
Hey.
Always got stories.
Brought to you by Megabone.
Giant hog story.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
Giant hog.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you giant hog. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
hoping you didn't get it. That's why there was no reaction.
Shrimp ring.
Hey, well, have a safe and healthy holiday weekend. We will be back on the Tuesday, as Phil has already pointed out. What am I looking for here, Phil? Oh, yeah.
Mike Boone will be joining me on the crack of noon tomorrow.
That's
if anybody
exciting.
wants to join me on Twitch, come check that out.
This Mike Boone of Toronto Mike.
This guy.
Sticker.
He does not like us to call him Mike Boone, by the way. He is
Well-
only supposed to be referred to as Toronto
Okay.
Mike.
All right,
Hashtag.
so Toronto Mike on crack of noon tomorrow, and all the best. Don't forget, it's pancreas and cold season.
Oh, God.
Have your pancreas checked out.
Can I get a flu shot
Yeah,
for my
get
pancreas?
a pancreas shot.
That's
right.
I was thinking we should start taking the Tuesdays off after a long weekend because long weekends can be grueling, Howard.
They can.
So we should probably take Tuesday as the recovery day for the long
Listen, you
weekend.
can.
Not this Tuesday because Ravi and Rudra are coming in.
Yeah.
But, any time
Yeah.
Tuesday after that.
Honestly, any Tuesday you want to take off after a long weekend, you just listen. Whatever will keep you here and out of the purple taco. Okay. Hey, look at me. I'm serious.
No, I know.
You can do
I
it
know.
from home.
I know.
If you need one extra day to recover
from the long weekend,
I got you covered. Okay.
Okay.
All right, kids.
Okay.
Devils in the microwave.